So they used to think ni mimi mtu ananifunza tabia mbaya. Kumbe ni mimi.
When you group leader.
But they yes.
Is this an option you exercised or exercised partially? Or?
No, my parents refused.
No shit.
Yeah. They said we're not doing that.
Oh, fucking hell.
Which I thank them to this day, because as a Korean, knowing me, I would have had a moment of crying my childhood. Though I was always very skeptical about it.
I'm itching to
I was told that God, the Christian God or Yahweh is the creator of the universe.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a Roman creation.
Okay.
It's not a problem actually. Yeah. You see the way we have the same we have Oludumare, the same way we have Nyasai, the same way we have Ngai. So can you imagine some white person akoko hivyo ana defend Ngai? Kwa sijui hapana alikuwa kwa Mount Kenya. Sijui and that is why women cheat, men cheat naturally. Yeah. And ask people who cheat, they'll tell you it's actually fun. That's the only place a man can feel like a king. Life in a minute. So at least you need a place where you can have a territory and say, now this is my,
however small it is.
Yes, however small it is, you can say, now these are my servants. Yes. Here when I say things go, nikisema fanya, nikisema nawishe kama because out there, they're the ones who are doing the submission. So you need someone to submit to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the internet. Today, fireworks. Jeff Koinange angekuwa hapa ningemwomba inaitwaje fire extinguisher so that the conversation we're about to have, I trust that is going to be amazing. On set with me is the amazing Rachel Nangami Masakha. Why did you drop Rachel?
Wow.
Yeah.
What a way to go off,
Yeah.
Of the starting races.
Yes.
Why did I drop Rachel? I just felt I wasn't connecting to it.
Yeah.
More than I do with Nangami. So
yes.
I felt, I can't drop a lot of the things that I got from the colonial masters, but I think one of the things that I can drop is my name.
Right.
The English we can't, because now it's the lingua franca we have going off.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Amazing. So you are easily known for public speaking, corporate training, and also a mentor. Yes. Is there anything else I've forgotten among that list of accolades?
No, I think you're right on the money. Yeah. Yes, public speaker, public speaking trainer, but also I do a lot of work, specifically when it comes to women.
Yes.
So matters to do with feminine stuff, embodiment, and the rest of it. Yes. So on the side of healing, I usually like to say that I am 2-in-1. Yeah. So during the day, I'm a trainer, then during the night, I'm a witch.
That one. I was about to ask you, actually. The question here was, do you have any other nickname going apart from the self-styled witch that you go by during the night?
No, not really. Because you see, womb healing is something that is very new to, I think, the modern day person, not even just the woman. Yeah. So for the most part, we have always geared towards healing in a very, either it's in the hospital or now in a very religious sense. Okay. So anything that is outside of that, anything that's an alternative has always been considered witchcraft and the rest of it. So I decided to own the name because most people went off saying that this work I do is very witchy. Okay. And so I'm not one to defend myself. So I said, I'm not going to defend, I'm going to run with the name. Okay. But yes, beyond that, I don't have another nickname.
Okay. For real? Yeah. Growing up? High school?
Not really.
Campus?
Perhaps maybe Ray. From the name Rachel. Okay. I haven't really dropped the name.
Yes.
It's still on my official documents. Yes. Yeah, but so it's whenever I need to present my documents, that's when they're like, so you're Rachel.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but I will drop it officially.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You'll go the entire shebang even in your documents and everything?
Affidavits.
Yeah. Okay, you're really committed to this Ubuntu cause.
I watched the movie Roots and read the book.
Yes.
And I remember Kunta Kinte saying, you see, back in Ghana, when he was, because Kunta Kinte was like a slave in the US, and then he was given the name Toby. And even when he had his kids, he used to do it the African way, though he was in America, but he used to dedicate his children and used to say, when he would lift his kids to their ancestors, and he would say that the only thing greater than yourself is your name.
Yeah.
So that is very powerful. Yes. And that is why for us to be converted, the first thing they take away from you is your name. So I wanted to reclaim that.
Oof. We are off to the races, man. This is going to be an amazing conversation. I can already feel it push your mic close to you. Yeah. All right. So now, what brings you to Bungoma this particular weekend?
Yes. In fact, this is a very amazing thing, because most of the time they say a prophet is not celebrated in their hometown.
Okay.
And I'm not prophet, but with the kind of work that I do with women, I've done it in so many spaces, and I've not done it especially in Bungoma.
Yes.
And things to do with women in the feminine embodiment work that I do. Like I have a whole African and global tour coming up, but I've not done anything in Kenya.
Okay.
So I figured, let me start from home, and I'm really grateful that the ladies from Bungoma were like, you come home and let's have a conversation.
Yes.
So tomorrow, the 4th of July, I'm not going to be going the whole way with what I do, because the kind of work that I do with women is very sacred. So the environment is really very sacred. But this is just going to be a conversation, perhaps to usher it in and see if they're open-minded enough for us to go in depth in the work. Okay. But yes, I'll be doing a lot of speaking matters to do with women, personal leadership, feminine power, and also reset, because most women are resetting from so many things, from heartbreak, from divorce, from loss of business, and the rest of it. And so how to pick yourself up without the pity party, because women, we are so good with pity parties.
Yes, for sure. Yes. Yeah. And no disagreement whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yes. So other than what you just mentioned, is there anything else like they can look forward to? But I know by the time this episode will be airing, you'd already have had the conversation with the ladies. So you can be...
I can preempt.
Yes, you can preempt a little bit, yes.
So what they should expect. I just have 3 things in my keynote. So it's going to be feminine power, it's going to be self-mastery, and it's going to be, it's going to be reset. So reset is just how to now recalibrate after the downsides of life. But what they should expect is at least just some practical things I'm going off on, like confidence and then self-leadership. And also things like self-preservation. You see, most of the time women, we don't have that level of self-preservation. We don't know how to preserve ourselves. Sometimes we put ourselves on fire to keep others warm. So just getting out of that space. And also selfishness. I'm very big on being selfish. So this is something that I would like women to embody a lot, because women usually put everybody first, and then they go off last, and then they get the short end of the stick. And then that's why we have these breakdowns from women all the time. So, and also just understanding what is your power, what power comes from within you. How are you going to derive that? And just living life on your terms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. I have some people who have already recommended to come see you. With the first time, I think when I was preparing for this conversation, my first touch point was your conversation with Lynn.
Oh, okay.
Lynn Gugi. I was like, okay. Then kaanza kusweta tangu mwenyewe. I was like, yo, what the hell? What am I getting myself into here?
Yeah.
Will I be able to hold a conversation with this lady?
But don't bite.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, the cans are too cool. I needed to consume a lot of your content just to have like a bit of an understanding of who you are, what you're up to.
Right.
Well, until I got to your TikTok, and then I was like, wow, okay, this is a bit spicy. Anyway, so before we go into March, though, there's some drinks here from our sponsor. There is some water.
Okay.
Coffee, if you might want.
I'd do with water.
You do with water?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry. You're welcome. So, this public speaking, how do you just decide to go into public speaking? Because it's not an everyday thing. Someone just wakes up and says, man, I want to be a public speaker. For the purposes of time, our Timelapse who might not know you from elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Public speaking for me, I stumbled on it, I want to say by chance, but then again, when I connect the dot backwards, I don't think it was by chance. I'm exactly where I needed to be, but I didn't have the full staircase, but it was the first step. So I was previously employed, or I was working for a logistics company, then the company folded, and I was home. So I didn't know what to do. I was broke. Now at this time, when you have been home after you have lost a job or a job has ended, you're exhausting your resources, and then you begin to ask yourself, what am I going to do next? And obviously the idea was for me to look for another job because I'm an investment analyst by profession. So, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to get into the employment field again. So I wanted to do something for myself. I wanted to just go out and start.
Why did you want to go back into the employment?
I want to say my father. My father used to be very. He used to speak a lot in my ear. So even when that job was ending, I was like, so I need to look for another job, because my father at the time had some little bit of influence. So he was a CDF, like a fund manager. So I know that he knew a few people in county government, in parastatals. So I was like, okay, you can hook me up with a job. I want to get employed. And most of the time I'd say, yeah, look into it, but why don't you just think of starting something of your own? Like, you'd make a very good businesswoman as compared to just working for someone. So I didn't know. I was like, no, I want to work. But then by the time it was folding, I had already made up my mind. I said, I don't know why this old man keeps on telling me I need to look for it. I need to do my own business. But I'm going to give it a shot. That's why I didn't know what to do. Because you see, by the time it folds, you're like, let me start a boutique, let me start something and then do it. But for me, I'm a very ardent reader. So I had read the book. I think it's called The Originals, or The Original, something of the sort. A very nice book. So they had written about, if you want to start a business and you want to start something outside of the box, write the first 20 ideas, usually are very conventional. And then by the time now you're stuck, you can't come up with an idea, you come up with that light bulb moment, and you can come up with something that's very unique and different. So I did that. But I was in drama club when I was in high school. So I have always loved the spotlight. Yes, I'm where I'm supposed to be. So I wrote so many things down. I wrote DJ, I wrote music director, videographer. There's so many things. The things just to do with the spotlight. That's what I wanted. I just wanted to be where the action was. I love it. So then I think on the 23rd point, I felt on public speaking. Because there was acting, and then I was like, no, I'm too grown for me to now go to Nairobi to National Theatre and start acting. Then I found public speaking. So I started doing research. And when I fell on public speaking, that's when I stopped. That's where it stopped.
You were like, this is it.
Yeah, this is it. So I started then just Googling public speakers. And obviously the first person that comes off is Miles Monroe, and then Les Brown, then Tony Robbins. So I started following them. Then there's Lisa Nichols. I started following those guys. But then again, at some point, I was just like, nah, they are too American. They speak to a different audience. I want someone who's African. So obviously Carolyn Mtoko, but she's not a public speaker. She's an MC. Every once in a while, because at the time she was in radio. So it took like several months anyway. So at this time, where am I? It's not like it's happening, it's linear. No, I've been kicked out of my house. I'm even crashing at my cousin's house. I'm looking on her couch. Then one day I saw Foneke. He had posted a guy and he was speaking, and I loved what this guy was saying. It was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. So I went on the repost, and when I pressed on it, it was Vosit and Choir. I was like, this is it. I binged his videos. I was like, yes, now this is African, and he's doing really well. Started now doing it. And I started teaching myself like for a year, because obviously I was broke. I couldn't go to a public speaking class. So then I started learning on the job. So I would read books, I would write speeches, because to be a good speaker, you have to learn how to write, and then I would read them out loud. Then I would take Vos's keynotes, and then I would write them in my own words and try to present them within his time frame. If he spoke for 35 minutes, I would redo the same keynote, but try to keep within his time. That's how I learned. And then now the practical aspects, then I would go to schools, I would go to churches, and I would speak to church leaders, especially the youth pastors. And I would tell them, I'm a very passionate person about the youth, and I want to talk to them about personal development. And see, at the time, I have a lot of wisdom, because Kimini Ramba, I'm going through the most. So you see, I'm the best person to speak about difficulty. I'm the best person to talk about it. So I would go and I would tell them about, because I've read books now at the time. You see, if you have a whole year, I think that is one of the best times in my life, because I had all the time to learn and to consume. Even the things that I go off on today were built during that time. I don't read as much as I used to read then. I don't listen to podcasts as much as I used to listen to them. But you see that library of wisdom has helped me to this day. So it was a good moment. And they won't pay me, obviously. They don't have the budget to pay you, but I just wanted to hone the skill.
Yes. Just
go and speak to a group of people and fail.
Yes.
Then I would, I'm doing well. Just to cut this long story short, there's a time, and then I would start calling. I had developed some confidence. Then I started calling TV shows. So one of the...
You did?
Yeah. I just started calling them, looking for them and saying, you see, I have this morning show. I want to come and give my thoughts. And obviously they turned me down. So many of them. But KBC was the first place to give me that opportunity. And they gave me for that. It's called GY254. GY2. Yeah.
I think I've seen some videos.
It's just like their child's debates for the youth. It's not even the main program. There's just like, there's a program for the youth. You can come on there and give your talk. So I went there. I did so well. And one of I think he was the host. Apparently he was a youth pastor. So a week later he calls me. He's like, by the way, I do these youth meetings with my team at church. Would you mind coming over to just talk to them? I said, sure. So at the time I'm still borrowing people fare. So when I went there, I did a decent job. So once we were done, he just preached for like maybe 20 minutes and then asked the youth to give their offering. And then he came and gave me the whole basket. He said, I didn't have the money to pay you, but whatever is in there, we haven't even counted. Whatever is in there, I just hope it blesses you. I was like, this is the first time I've paid. It's the first time I've been paid for speaking. It actually works, because he felt like I needed to be paid. And for me, I was just like, this is how I will hone my skill. This is how I'll get better.
Amazing.
So, and then from then on, it just became a journey.
Yes. Now the interactions, connections started coming from that.
Yeah. Started coming from there. Yeah.
You know, I have a public speaking story of sorts.
Okay.
So circa 2019, I'm like, I've watched enough Gary V videos. I'm like, you know what? I'm so pumped. I wanna go out there and be a public speaker as well. So I had started a vlog. So I get in. Actually, funny thing, I like that you talk about the universe a lot.
Yes.
When you put it out there, the invite starts coming.
Sure.
So I'm invited to speak at some entrepreneurship summit at KIE. Sponsored by UN. I actually go and speak. Most of the audience didn't really get my vibe, but hey, it was my first one. And then I also get to speak at some disability thing. The PWDs from Mukoma were gathered and they were supposed to be taught about business. And because I was coming off as a business talk person, like business speaker, I go there and do my thing. But then again, there's this thing about imposter syndrome. I was just like feeling like, man, I am not as accomplished, the Vuzis, the Gary V's, all the people you've mentioned, with their mighty businesses that can be used as a, proof of concept. Like, hey, I can speak because I have X, Y, Z.
Yes.
So and then this town of ours is very small. Tunakutana kwa boda nikiangaika tu pia tena, So I'm like, how am I going to inspire you when I'm looking like, my problems,
Yes.
So I was like, what? Let me build my businesses first. So I guess the question that I'm trying to frame here is, how do you then overcome this whole imposter syndrome and just feeling like the feeling of inadequacy when you're telling people big things, but yourself, you have not achieved them?
In fact, that's a very good question. The first time I started speaking, most people, especially closer to me, the people who knew me, were the first people to tell me it won't work. Obviously, people know you from your background. They know your story. And what people told me, yes, you're not like Gary V, you're not like Alex Omozi, you're not like this Patrick Beck-David, these guys who run successful businesses and then so they speak as a result of it. So you don't have a business, you're not an author, you are not like some sort of a life coach or a trainer at the time. So what is your claim to fame? What would you say is the thing that puts you on the map to speak? And true to form, I didn't have an answer because the thing is, even today, I don't have those things. I still don't have those. I don't have a multi-million shilling or dollar business. I have not authored anything. I don't think I'm like a coach. So I still don't have those things, and yet we're here talking about the global tour. And I think it comes from the bit of when you throw something out there into the universe. The only thing that I knew is that I have life experience. And that's enough. Because if you put me anywhere, that's enough. And one thing that I used to just go off on is the best coach is one of the best players. So
I love that.
anytime I'm given an opportunity to speak, I'm just like, yep. Ferguson, I'm Manchester, so Ferguson was a good coach, but a terrible player. Yeah. So that's the thing that kept on. So that's the thing that kept on going off in my head. Yes. As long as I have a story and I'm able to I don't know, wax lyrical, so to speak.
Your favorite word.
Yeah. As long as I'm able to do that, just give me an opportunity and I'm going to wow the audience. Yes. And then obviously, you see, the thing is, one thing I understand about the universe is that the moment you're persistent on something, the path will just open.
Yes.
And the reason why I am very, very insistent on speaking about Vusi is that when I started revering the guy, I used to say I want to be a global speaker like Vusi.
Yeah.
But then again, Vusi is a renowned speaker, first of all. He has like records he has broken.
Yes.
He's a serial entrepreneur.
Yes.
He's an author. I was like, oh, how am I going to be a global speaker? But I just kept on speaking. I called myself a public speaker way before I could even start training myself to speak. And I said, I'm going to do this. Okay. And when I kept on just putting myself in the process of speaking, going to classes, I think I put it out there and the universe tested me enough. It was like, yeah, we got to give it to her. So when I started training people, I just said, then one day just this thing came onto my head because I was struggling to get clients. Corporate clients. Like you see in consulting, there's feast and famine. Today you have clients, tomorrow you don't.
Yes.
And so I started just coming on social media, just talking about something. And then one day I just started talking about communication because I would go to look for clients. They would have horrible communication styles in the organization. So I just started talking about communication. And then one time a client, I think I had 330 something followers at the time. And this lady reaches out from the UK. She says, you speak so well. I want you to train me as a public speaker. I was like, okay. How much? She asked me how much. I just said 26,000. She was like, okay.
Where did you pull that figure from?
I didn't have, because I thought it was too much at the time. And she's like, oh yeah, 26K, that's okay, because I don't think she said, this is very cheap. There's going to come a time I won't be able to afford you, because obviously she's in the UK. So the amounts they pay for public speaking obviously is higher. That's like something they would pay maybe for 2 sessions or even 1. Yeah. So if you're going to coach her for 8, she's like, this is very cheap. A time is going to come, I won't be able to afford you. So the next day I put up a post and I said, I'm going to do public speaking training online. Who wants to join? And I had people come in, they're like, yeah, train me. Nice. And that's when now my career just even to start getting, clients now from different parts of the globe. Now South African girls joined. And then I had girls from the US. I had clients who, acts in Hollywood. And I was like, me? How am I getting this? Then one time I looked at myself and said, I was talking about being a global speaker like Vusi. Now look at me.
Look at you.
It didn't have to happen the way he's happened.
Yes.
But it has happened in my own way. Yeah. And then obviously when I started getting traction, then my uncle calls me and he's like, oh, okay, unajua, yo ni Msambwa, iko nyumbani, yo mukasa, si Msambwa mukasa. He said, yo mukasa inakuanga ya wanaume peke yake.
Okay.
We don't understand how it's gotten to women. I was like, what? So like the oration thingy is in the family, but usually around the men. So it's a good thing that you have gotten. He was like, would you look at that? My ancestors all this while were like, I
love it.
I didn't know. So I think that's why when I picked on public speaking, then it works. And when I look back, the things I've talked about from, I don't know, when I started speaking online up until today, the things I even speak about, even African spirituality, I'm like, I was supposed to get here, but it took so many different things, but I got here.
Amazing. Yes. Amazing. So how many, you've already laid out the path, but it's a question I just planned to ask you. Okay. How many free gigs in your estimation do you take before you get to that one paying one? Because sometimes, netizens here, I think that is just, it's automatic.
No, it's not.
You put up a poster and business comes, people come.
Actually, no, it's not, because you have to pay your dues.
Yes.
You have to pay your dues.
Jab, huh?
Yeah, you have to. I don't have a particular number in mind, but you have to do it. And especially if you're in shit. Yeah. You see, there's sometimes that we overestimate ourselves.
Oh, yes.
No, for me, I didn't BS myself. I knew I wasn't good.
Okay.
And I needed the free gigs because I knew that the consequences were very small. That even if I effed up, Nobody's going to come on at me because they didn't pay me.
Yes.
So they're not asking for deliverables. They're not asking for anything. They're just like, okay, set a budget. You can speak for free. Yes, I can speak for free. And so for me, that was an opportunity to test myself, especially if you don't have the money. Because in life, you pay for things two ways. You pay either with time or with money.
Yes.
So if you have the time and you don't have the money, use the time as much as you can to work on yourself and to gain the skill. Because you see, you can't BS the universe, you can't BS God, you can't BS life.
No.
You can BS everyone else.
Yes.
But life is going to test you.
Yeah.
Like it tests all of us. You say you're confident.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how confident you are. Then life tests you.
Yes.
You say you want this. This is what you want. Then life pushes you to the wall.
To the very extreme,
and the people who surrender, they're like, actually, let me go and joke.
Hata sikuwa serious hivyo. Yes, I know that feeling, by the way.
And then people drop it and they pick something else.
Yes.
Because, it will take you to... And for me, I didn't have an alternative. So, yes, I was willing to do the free gigs because for me, it was the visibility.
Yeah.
Because, say, for instance, if I went to a TV show, there are very many TV shows that I've always been on.
Yeah.
If I went on a TV show, it's a quid pro quo. Scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yes.
So they'll give me the footage.
Yes.
It is evidence that I speak and I was on someone's channel.
Yes.
So it's that proof of concept,
Yes.
one. And then two, I get to go and listen to myself and I can say, okay, I'm not good in this. My storytelling is a bit, it needs a bit of tweaking and the rest of it, that kind of stuff, especially if you're doing it with time. With time. If you have money, then pay people or pay yourself, pay your way up.
Yeah.
Use money to get to certain spaces.
Yes.
So you pay with two things.
Amazing. So you're here now, global tour in line in the pipeline, doing well. Like your name is actually out there. You nangoja tu fike Twitter, then now boom. Because now that's when things now will get really chaotic for you in a good way.
Yes,
the chaos birth amazing things. So looking back at your journey since, when did you start this? 2019, 2020?
2017, 2018.
Okay. If you look back at this whole public speaking journey, how differently would you do it given now your knowledge base right now?
I would learn from someone.
Okay.
I would learn under someone who's doing it. But at the time, unfortunately, we didn't have the people we looked up to were like Kinaburale. So at the time, Kinaburale were the ones who are doing really well. There are not so many public speakers, and the ones who spoke were either now the life coaches and who are like very much in churches, religious. So every time they would speak, they would quote a scripture. But I would learn under someone. It would have minimized the time for mistakes, because now you make expensive mistakes. You have to go back the drawing board and the rest of it. But having to learn from someone, seeing what they do and having someone to hold my hand, that would have been easier.
Now that you mention, now that I think about it, other than you and say Robert Burale, who else we doing this in Kenya? I can't think of anyone. Who that?
Benihin. Bengo.
Okay. I think I've heard the name.
We've had the name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. See, the number is not that big.
We're not that many.
So if you're in Bungoma and you want to get attachment from Benihin, man, how the hell are you going to get him? It's going to be chaotic. Amazing. I love it. So your grandmother, is it Rachel?
Yes.
Nangami, right?
Yes.
She's kind of an inspiration of sorts to you. Yeah. So what do you have in common with her that you've had? I think from the stories I've seen on your from the conversations you've had, she died before your time.
Yes.
So, but what stories do you think you've had that are parallel between the two of you?
Yeah, she was stern.
Yes.
She was very strict.
Okay.
She was industrious. She was very hardworking. Even back then, she worked hard and got herself a parcel of land, and she had her own cows that she was milking.
Nice.
So she was, much as she was married with like 12 kids, she was also very, very industrious.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is when it comes to the little things that I know, especially what we have together in common, is that she believed in herself, in her abilities. I think the conditioning back then limited her so much, because my aunties tell me she had so much potential, but because of the life back then, she was just limited to the village. But she was very bright. Okay, she was very brilliant.
But from what you're describing, there's a bit of agency there. Like she was industrious and there was agency.
So she did the best with what she could. But if she had been in the world today, she would have done a lot.
Okay. Yeah. So dialing back a little bit now in your own childhood, because you grew up in the 90s, what are some of your fond memories growing up in the village? Where do you grow up?
Yeah, so home is in Lugulu, but I grew up basically in Mombasa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You didn't grow up in the village?
No.
Amazing.
I grew up in Mombasa. I came to Nzoia Sugar in class 8.
Okay.
So most of my schooling from class 1 to class 7 was in Mombasa. I think I had a short stint in Lugulu Girls. But after so many years in Lugulu Primary, I think I had a stint there for a year, maybe class 3. Then I went back to Mombasa. Okay. But we left Mombasa in 2004? 2004. When my mother now finally relocated, and so moved to Eldoret. Okay. So either way, still. We haven't been home here a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2004 up until now, Kiswahili kimepotea.
Mwanangu
jameni.
Okay. Fair. So any childhood memories, fond, if I may, that you tie to your early childhood in the 90s, growing up in Mombasa?
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing much. Let me think about this. Child fond memories. I don't know, maybe the child games that we used to have, the Bano, the Kati, Uki, when it comes to games, that was it. And acting.
There was
acting, yes.
Church,
I would have made
school?
a very good actress, by the way, if I was given.
In what construct, church or school?
School.
Okay.
School. I did well even in primary school. At some point, we went to the nationals with my school. Okay. So yeah, those are some of the things. And even at church, by the way, I did the Christmas carols.
Okay.
Yeah. And that sort of thing. And then, by the way, one of my I used to do very well in school.
It's all coming back to you.
I used to do really well in school.
Yeah. Which school?
I went to Amani Primary School in Mombasa.
Okay.
And
which side of Mombasa?
Is Mikindani.
Okay.
It's in Mikindani. So this is Changamwe side. And I used to be among the top 3 there in class. Oh. If I drop, is the top 5. And my teachers used to think that I was working in bad company. So when my mother would come to school, they'd be like, anatembeanga na watu wachokozi. She has the potential to be number 1. So I usually used to avoid number 1. I would avoid being number. It's too much pressure because the next time sasa umetupwa number 10. So I would prefer number 3, number 4, number 5. If you become number 7, nobody notices. Yeah. But number 1,
if you fall,
it's an issue. So I used to avoid it very much. But by and large, I used to do well. So when my mother would come to school, the teachers would be like, this one, anapiganga kelele kwa class. Kuna watu wanamnini, and the whole time they didn't know that I was the bad influence. So they used to think ni mimi watu wananifunza tabia mbaya. Kumbe ni mimi.
When you group leader.
But they won't believe it.
Yeah. Because you were performing well.
Yeah, I was doing well. And then I have a very sharp memory.
Yeah.
So I don't need to revise.
Okay.
For me, if I just
You're one of those,
if I pay attention in class, I'm good to go.
You're good to go.
So that's why for me, I don't sleep during class.
Okay.
I try as much as possible not to sleep during class.
Amazing.
Prep time, group time, group work, I don't do those things. I've groups discussion and the rest of it, because for me, it just, once I know it's stored, I will retrieve it when I need. Because you said the thing about 844 was about regurgitating stuff.
Yes.
It's not, don't overthink it. Do you remember the answer? Do you remember the process? That's it. And so I was very good at it. Okay. So yeah, I would be with my friends. We would play. I love Sawa Kikuja. I'm going to 27 out of 30. Hata mi sijui nilipitaje, but at the back of yeah, so they would think that maybe I go home and I study and whatnot.
Transmite,
Yeah, but
nothing. You just,
yes, but
naturally gifted.
Yeah, but I would quietly be in the naughty group and get away with it. Because the teachers would be like, no, she's in bad company. No, I'm the bad company.
Interesting. So, now, along these childhood memories, do you have, that was generally, now about your father, Mr. Masakha.
Right.
Do you have any memory attached to him?
Oh, yeah.
Anything maybe he did foundationally that you remember? My dad bought me this, did this, took me to this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My father's a very liberal man.
Okay.
So he used to very much encourage me. I want to say this. I hope it doesn't offend my siblings, but I don't want to join. I'm my dad's favorite. I used to be my dad's favorite. Now I'm grown. I can't say that I'm my dad's favorite, but I used to be my dad's favorite. Yeah. So most of the things my dad would really like give me priority. Okay. So he gave me priority on so many conversations that we just have. So my father, I can't say he gave me so many, like he would take me out, but my father would speak a lot. Because I'm the firstborn. I think with the chauvinism, he treated me like the son he never had. Yeah. So he's just like, my firstborn, I thought it was going to be a son, but it's a girl. Anyway.
So I'm
gonna work with what I have. And I'm gonna
make the most of.
Yeah. So the conversations that we used to have a lot with my father. He reassured me a lot.
Even in the lower primaries or now?
Yeah, even in the lower primary. That's why I used to do really well at school.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why, because he would like take that out of me. My father would tell me every day, "You're the smartest person I know in this family."
Amazing.
I was like, more than he's like, "Yeah, you're the smartest person I know in this family." So for me, when you come home with the results that maybe if I've dropped, like, I know this is not you. You can do better. Because he comes from a time where academia was really important. Yes, that's it.
Amazing. So do you still have an amazing relationship right now? Because I have seen your Facebook sometimes back. I saw like you guys are kind of still,
Yes. Oh, right. Yes, we still are. We still are with my dad. Nowadays,
do you talk as much?
We do talk. We do talk. But I think nowadays he's grown old.
Okay.
So he's just enjoying his retirement and the rest of it. And then so me, I'm here, fiery feminist.
Is he private what you do? Like, is he?
Yeah, he knows what I do. So he's just like. I'm sometimes like, who raised you? Because my father is a lion. Like he's really tough.
Yes,
he is really tough.
So
So sometimes we clash on ideologies.
Yes.
Yeah. So instead of that clash, because I've matured and I understand where he's coming from, so I avoid a lot of conversations. So squeeze from mainstream.
You remain on the...
How are you? Mekula? Those things. But when you go deeper into things, you see now, and I can't start correcting my dad.
No.
Yeah.
So, I totally understand that feeling. You give them to the extent that they can take.
Yes. So ama vitu zingine you just agree and just for peace sake.
For peace sake. He must not be consuming a lot of your content, because if he was,
I don't think. I think for his own, even for him, for his own peace of mind, I don't think he does.
Yeah. Because sometimes my dad follows this podcast a lot.
Oh, okay.
He watches everything. And I worry one of these fine conversations he's going to find out his real son.
Okay.
Yes, and I worry so much.
You worry?
Yes, because we are in such a good space, and I worry there's some ideologies that I bear that I worry that if he ever finds out for sure, he will like...
He will think you're doing it for the cameras. He might not be able to...
No, he's been in your seat. There's a Father's Day conversation we've ever had with him, and I put him there, and he went bazooka on me, revealing some family secrets for the first time on camera. He threw me off completely. If someone knew me very well, they could see that I was actually really shocked, because I was hearing things for the first time.
Oh, wow.
But I also worry that if he keeps on tuning in, he might just...
he might also be shocked, just like you are.
Yes, might just be shocked. But hey, I hope that day comes soon, so that we get it out of the way.
So that you can get over it.
Yes, and I see what type of relationship we have moving forward. But he knows I'm a bit, you don't build a business by being a puppy,
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
Yes.
Anyway, so you get some of the ups and downs, the things you've mentioned earlier that built your character, and one of them is the fact that you got pregnant early, 21, yes. I think, right?
Yeah, 20. Yeah.
20. Yeah. So the delivery happened when you're 21,
yeah,
right?
just hit 21.
Yeah. So how is this? What lesson do you pick from this early pregnancy and the whole experience of having a kid at this time of your life? Because this is a time whereby you're supposed to be in college or something?
Yeah.
Where were you in college?
I was in second year, Mo University.
Mo University, Eldoret?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I've already had this conversation with my son, so he's okay with it. But it's not a space that I would recommend. I even have a conversation with him a lot.
Okay.
Because it's not a good place to be at. You see, I was viable to have a child. Right?
Yes.
You can't even have a child at 14. I mean, you are, as long as you're fertile, you can have a child. But it takes a lot from you.
Yeah.
Because I had to grow up. And I missed out on so many things.
Yeah.
That I think I'm just trying to catch up on right now. And then I was crippled because you see now a child cripples you. So I just couldn't take on opportunities. I couldn't live life as a 20-year-old because now you see you're a mother.
Yes.
You're a parent. So I couldn't exercise my agency to a certain place or to a certain extent.
All right.
So there are certain things in life that I'm also very naive about because I didn't experience them at the time.
Okay.
Because my focus was on keeping someone else alive.
Yeah.
It was in providing for them in the very little ways that I knew. So there are certain bits that I left out that were even very important.
Okay.
See now when you're in survival mode, you can't be creative, and then you can't even think about certain opportunities.
Yes.
Which are things that I'm catching up on now. So now I'm on the road a lot. I'm traveling a lot. Because I was here last week. Yeah. Then I came back again. I think I was even asking, I think I asked if we could do it.
Yes, he called.
Yes. So I'm here now. Next week I'm going to be in Uganda. Then after the week I'm going to be in Zambia. Then after that I'm going to be in South Africa. Then after that I'm going to be in the US. So you see, I'm all over the place. Yeah. But this is something that maybe I would have done that time. So you can imagine I have a teenage son. Right now. And much as I'm chasing money and I feel like now I have the energy to do things that I would have done then, so that now I just slow down into my
little bit. Yes.
So it's having things upside down. So it's not something that I would recommend anyone. Like, do the most when you have the energy, when you have the ability to make mistakes. Because you see, if I made mistakes, then you're making mistakes when you have a child also with you. And then survival mode is the worst place. And this does not happen even to 20-year-olds. It happens to grown people my age. There are people who are still raising kids right now in survival mode.
Yes.
Like you're stressed about what are you going to have for dinner? Do we even have enough money? I have seen people in their 40s. Someone calls me and they're like, hey, Nangami, they take a cock and bull story and because they're asking for 300 shillings. Oh, sijui my card. Oh, sijui nini. I need 300 bob. And usually at the back of my mind, I just know they're at their wits' end and they just need maybe food for dinner. And you see, this is someone who has a family. Or someone just calls you and tells you, Akia to jakula. And now you're in your 40s. These are people who are grown. Now you can imagine doing that when you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
This hasn't developed yet.
Yes,
first
fully,
of all, fully to understand life as it is.
Yeah.
At least someone who's grown, they're able to know that it's life. Don't make a big deal about it. Yeah. You see, now you're young, you're trying to catch up with life, you're trying to catch up with things. It's such a bad place to be at, especially raising a child when you're in struggle mode. And then it ruins your nervous system.
Interesting.
And having to restore your nervous system later, it requires intentionality.
Yeah.
And it requires you to be very aware and bring yourself to a place where you don't repeat the mistake. Because now people do this, and then you wake up one day, you have 3 kids and a wife. You have 2 kids and a husband. And you haven't yet brought yourself out. Like the person who was supposed to come out. You in your high sense of self.
Yes.
And you already have dependence.
Yes. Lovely. So why? I don't know the details, so I'm trying to like piece it together.
Right.
So in that moment, most average girls usually just like take the kid to their mother back in the village or something. Is this an option you exercised or exercised partially? Or?
No, my parents refused.
No shit.
Yeah. They said we're not doing that.
Oh, fucking hell.
Which I thank them to this day, because as a Korean, knowing me, I would have had another one. Knowing me, I would have gotten married elsewhere and had left my baby at all. I would just been the typical Leah girl.
I was not ready for that response.
But my parents say we're going to support you from a distance. You see, you decided to have sex. You thought that having sex is fun. These are the consequences. We will support you from afar, from a distance, but you're going to raise your child by yourself. We're not going to do that for you. At least my father for some time was like, yeah, leave the baby home, then go back to school. But I think later on he was like, no. You just take care of your child while you're in school. Hey, now I became a parent. I said I'm not doing this again. At least not when I'm still in struggle mode.
Yo, that was a steep lesson they gave you, huh?
It was. My mother, she refused. And at the time, obviously, people would think, oh, mama ni mbaya, amekataa kukalia mtoto rudi shule. Because me, immediately, I gave birth 2 weeks later, I went back to school and went back with my child. And so he was raised in college with me for the last 2 years. Yeah.
How was the balance between classwork?
It was hard because now, especially after I just given birth, I would go to class just for the time. So if I have a 40 minutes class at 3, I'd leave the house at 2:45 because it was just a walking distance. Go to class, immediately class is over. I have to go back to the house because now my breast milk and whatnot. I didn't have money to get a pump at the time, breast pump. Yeah, so I'd have to just attend class and then go back home and breastfeed. So that's why I didn't have enough time to be in the campus, within the campus grounds and talk to people and interact. I missed out on campus nights, on the, what is it called? Fourth year. There's a fourth year bash that we usually do. I couldn't go to it because now I had a 1-year-old. I can't go and spend out, the
You had
night.
a nanny though? Someone helping you take care of the kid?
I did have a nanny, but I don't know. I just didn't feel okay to just, like you said, the maternal instincts then just kicked in for me. So I didn't feel it was nice for me to go out, party with people and then come back and have to sleep next to a very small baby.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just didn't feel proper.
You just slowed down.
Yeah, for me. But I caught up. Hey, no, it's not a back. It's not stress. I don't have to rush anywhere.
That's crazy.
So it's heavy, and that's why when I speak to women, I speak to girls a lot because you don't hear me talk about my baby daddy.
Yeah.
Because the responsibility solely fell on me because of the primary caregiver at the time.
Yes.
And this is what happens to most girls. You are the one who's going to be responsible for that child. The man can provide, even give you money, but at the end of the day, the maternal instincts, once they kick in, you are the one who has to be responsible for yourself and for a child, and especially if you want to do it the right way, not just recklessly. So it's going to take a lot from you.
Yes. Now, the father of the child at this moment, were you in school together?
No. He was like, was it 9-10 years older than I am? So at the time he was working elsewhere. He was working in Naivasha.
Okay.
So I was a student in Eldoret, but he wasn't like earning a lot. So even for him sustaining himself there and sustaining us. Still... Yeah, so that's why my father still supported me. One thing that I loved is that once I gave birth, I had just had a cesarean. I came home 3 days later. So my father couldn't look me in the eyes because he could stand seeing me in that position. I was tiny at the time. Just had undergone a cesarean, and it's back in the day. It's not like nowadays. It's very easy. You just go and come back. So back in the day, like you would walk. So my father he couldn't stomach how me at such a young age and I had to carry all that pain.
Yes.
So he comes into my bedroom and he says, I want to have a conversation with you for the first time. So we hadn't talked. So he picks a stool, sits there, looks at me and says, I want to say this to you. I want to speak to you as a man, not as a father. I want to speak to you as a man. And my father told me, you're going to raise this child alone. I said, why? At the time I was still with the baby daddy. We're like, oh, Mackenzie, us against the world. You don't know where we're living.
Bonnie and Clyde.
It's like, me and my pastor, he's supporting the baby. He calls every night. He even came to see us at the hospital. I was like, you're going to raise this child alone. You're going to be a single mother. I was like, what? Tell me what? He's like, no. Obviously, I might not be able to disclose a few things, but yes, he said, I've looked at this situation. It's not going anywhere. And these are the reasons. So that's why he said, I'm going to speak to you as a man.
Yeah.
And when you went to first year in campus, I knew I was going to pay your school fees up until you're done with fourth year. And if you ever want to proceed and do your master's, I'll still be here to pay for your school fees. So I'm not going to apportion this responsibility to anybody else. I will pay your rent and I'll pay your school fees. And if you need the money, anything, I'll give it to you. So he gave me 45,000 shillings at the time. Said, you go sort yourself out. When you're going back to school, settle yourself and the rest of it. So my father kept on paying my rent and my food. So at least that lifted the burden for my baby daddy. So he wasn't paying rent for us. Or he was just paying the help and maybe sending a diaper. Most of the time, we just send money for the diapers and for the help. But because the bigger portion was being taken care of by my father.
Your father.
Yes. So, yeah. And I think maybe 1.5 years later, we had already split. So we've been co-parenting right now for what, 13 years?
Yeah.
Going to 14.
I wonder what your father saw. What he knew.
Yeah. But when I look back and what he saw, he says, from a man's perspective, this.
Yes.
He said, yes, you can play your game for the next 6 months, 1 year. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You're going to end up alone. You're going to raise this child alone.
That was important, for you to know this,
Yeah, it was very important. And I think
prepared
you. But we've always had candid conversations with my dad. The first time I was reporting to campus, my father also sat me down and he told me about the condom. He told me, you're going to university and men don't carry condoms. So you always be carrying a condom in your bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to sleep with a man and then he will tell you, sina condom mtole yako. That's what my dad told me.
I'm a girl dad, man.
That's what my dad told me. And so when I got pregnant, that's why we didn't have that conversation. When I called him, because my mother forced me to call him, said, but tell your dad you're pregnant. They're not together, so she knew I had not told him. So I called him, I said, I'm pregnant. He just kept quiet for a very long minute. And then he said, at your level, you cannot be at an institution of higher learning and not know how to protect yourself. I thought we had this conversation. I'm so disappointed. That's what he said. Yeah. And then he just said, all right, you carry your baby to term. Congratulations. But you see, he had already had that conversation with me because, what else would he have said? And that is why even when I was on campus, my father, every Friday, sometimes I would call him and I'm like, I want to go out. And he would send me money to go out and have a good time. Because my father was like, nisikupate huko kwa wazee. Umekaa na mtu anatoshana na mimi ati umekuja kukunywa pombe, shika hii ndo kujinunulie pombe, nisikupate huko kwa wababa. Go and drink alcohol with your friends kwa disco. He calls it disco. Yeah. Mwende kwa disco. Nisikupate huko kwa
I like your dad already.
Nimekuja kunywa pombe yangu nikupate wewe na rika yangu nimekaa hapo. Kwa sababu
he would have this type of conversation.
Kwa sababu ya pesa. Yeah. So that's what he did for me. That's why for me, I don't have that dependence on on men a lot, because my father just made it easy for me to either I have it by myself or he provided it. Yes. So I didn't have to look outside for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So AJ is what now?
15.
15.
Yes.
I even know his name. I've been in your life.
Know his name.
Yes,
wow.
I've been in your life for a minute. So I even saw that celebration you were doing when he got circumcised. And some people were not so happy with it in the comment section. Yes. So how are you now being able to teach him the ways of being a man? Because that's a role you cannot.
I don't.
By yourself.
I don't do it. Yes. So because his father is still in his life, whenever I feel there's a conversation that he needs to have with him man to man, I delegate it to him. So I call him and I tell him, hey, he's having a certain issue. Have the conversation with him. Yeah. Or now my male friends. I have incredible male friends that I trust.
Okay.
And then also my brother-in-law. Is also very good. The husband to my sister. So every once in a while, especially when they close school, like right now he's on summer break. Yeah. So at this time, I would either give him time and space to spend with the men that I respect. Okay. And I am very deliberate. Men of influence, men of power, men who have something going off on themselves. Because I want him to live life in the real world and to be the man of a particular, that pity party, we Africans. No.
Yeah.
There are people that other men look up to. Be the man that other men look up to. Don't be a man who looks up to other men. Be the people who say, vusi sasa wekwa vusi. You be that person that other people look up to. And that means I have to put him in such an environment to understand that power moves a certain way. Because I'm very particular about him moving around power. See, men don't get an opportunity to explain yourself through life. You see, for us to never say, I can be a rich housewife.
Yes.
A man, you don't have that option.
No.
Yeah.
It's you against the wall, man.
Yeah.
Your back is backed up. Yeah. So I love it so much. So now, based on this whole life experience of yours, what uncomfortable truth do you think, like, I'm going to ask for both genders. What uncomfortable truth do you think that ladies are not really taking their stride, based on just this experience, this part of your life that we just talked about?
Okay.
What uncomfortable truth do you think the ladies are not really in, what's the word? They're not hawakubali, but it's there, but it's an uncomfortable.
I think what I have is what would apply for both genders. Nobody's coming to save you.
All right.
Yeah. See, we were conditioned to, especially as women, there's a prince on a horse.
Prince Charming.
There's a Prince Charming. He's handsome. He has the money.
Yes.
He lives in a castle.
Yes.
And so we are going to ride into the sunset together.
Yes.
Or we're going to have a billionaire marrying a village girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. It only happens in movies. Nobody's coming to save you.
Yes.
And it's in all aspects. Nobody's coming to save you. You're your own savior. So you see, that is why we have this thing. Can you afford me? Oh, Suji, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Can you do this? Because women move with naivety in the world. Like, your parents don't even like you, but you think there's a stranger. There's a stranger that is going to come out from out there and love you so much. And they're going to spend their life just making you happy and doing the things that you need, that you want done. And they're not even going to ask for a lot in return. No. They just love you because you're beautiful and because you can give birth. And that's it. That's how it's going to be. Yeah. So that's what girls walk around in. So
yes,
they think that's how it is.
That self-delusion. Yes.
Yeah. That's the highest level. I say this all the time. A man has not given himself his dream life, but he's going to give it to you. He's going to work and just give it to you. Why? Because you're beautiful. Because he loved you. Yeah.
That is an uncomfortable truth.
Yeah, and it's a big lie.
Yeah.
It's a big lie because it also puts a lot of pressure on the men to have to deliver on that promise.
Yeah.
And then people go at loggerheads. So that's why dem anamka unifanyie venye mimi naona Nangami anafanywa kwa TikTok.
There's that comparison thing going on.
Yes. Because they are looking for that. Nobody's coming to it. And even especially financially.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand why the earlier feminists, even people like Wangari Maathai, they were not calling themselves feminists, but they really, really campaigned for the girl to go to school.
Yeah.
Our mothers, some of them had to work and train the girls because the fathers were like, so they did that because they knew they didn't have that education, but they wanted their daughters to have education. Only for girls to have education and come and sit, and some of them want to operate as if they just weren't empowered. And empowerment is not just about your pocket. It's also empowerment in the mind.
About your mind, yes.
Yes. So nobody's coming to save you.
Okay.
There's no savior. Yeah. I know we come from a religious perspective where there's always a savior. There's someone who's going to pay for all your things and your sins.
Yes.
No. Baby Jesus. He's the only one who dies for people for free.
And you've said maybe.
Maybe.
I didn't miss it. If I didn't know you, like I know you now, I would have missed it. But underscore, but let's move on. Let's hold it there.
Hold it there. Okay.
So now, going through your timeline and just like watching the conversations you've been having on different platforms, I've isolated like 2 or 3. I like to call them hot takes. You've made a couple of hot takes, but some are not. For me, they're up in my alley. But I know some of the people watching were like, Damn. Okay. We're a bit spicy for them. So first off, the rock bottom.
Okay.
You recommend it actually. You say like recommend rock bottom is where what's the word you used? Is where pause. You recommend pause in the rock bottom. And most people go in life trying to really avoid pain of any sort, just or numbing it, or trying to do everything possible to like numb pain or just avoid it completely.
Right.
But here you are saying that when you hit rock bottom, pause and think, and you might actually forge a way forward. So speak more about this, and just like maybe there's someone who's watching or who will watch this, and it might actually just help them to actually forge a path forward.
Okay, thank you so much for that. In fact, I'm yet to do research to find out if there's scientific backing to it, because nowadays every day people just need scientific backing, they need data on it. But I'm a firm believer of that rock. You see, we were not trained on accepting chaos. That life it's a pendulum.
Yes.
And usually when there's a lot of joy, you need to brace for chaos. So people don't brace. And it's always coming up. Chaos is always going to come up in your life. And it doesn't have to be financial. It can be economical. It can be spiritual. It can be emotional. It can also be health-wise. So you have all the money now, you're going to the hospital a lot. You're spending all that money going to the hospital. Or you can have all the money now, family is a mess.
Yes.
So rock bottom usually is a good place for you to recalibrate. Now, the problem with rock bottom is that people don't understand that they're in it, that they're in the eye of the storm.
Yes.
And when you're in the eye of the storm, usually it's like the calmest place. Like, but the eye of the storm usually is like...
Yes.
And not so much is happening there. Yeah. And when you're there, it's time for you to sit and reflect. So let everything that is supposed to burn to the ground, let it burn. Now, how do you know you're in rock bottom? If everything you're trying to do has an opposite effect. So you see, the moment you start hitting rock bottom, for most people, it starts financially.
Yeah.
So it's, this month's japata your deal, but maybe it's going to come next month. So you chase the next month. But then again, you're now behind on bills, you're behind on rent, you're behind on school fees, but you keep on now chasing. You're calling people, you're calling the governor, you're going here, you're going places. And the more you chase, the less you find.
Yeah.
The worse it gets.
Yes.
So the next thing that people do is to do what? Is to now get into debt.
Yes.
So you start, nisaidie 50k hapa hivi nakurudishia next month. Nitakuwa na kupromise. Now, because you know what I do, you know I'm capable of getting the 50k, you give me 50k. I use it to sort out these other issues. Then I go to him and ask him, by the way, Kimomana, nisaidie 30k. So by the time you wake up, you owe people 500k, you owe people 200k, you owe you where? Money.
Yes.
So what do? You get into even more debt. Now you go to the mobile loans, you do all of these things. So you need to take a step back and say, it is breaking down. Everything is crumbling. Let it crumble. Yeah. But you see that usually at the point, it looks like it's surrender. It looks like you're not doing anything to salvage.
Yes.
The moment you find that the harder you try, the worse it gets.
Yes.
Stop. Leave it. Let everything burn to the ground. Because rock bottom usually comes with isolation.
Yep.
People who used to invite you no longer invite you. People used to pick your calls no longer pick your calls. Like nothing is happening. Yes. Even people who would give you 10,000 instantly. Ata so hawana.
They don't pick your call.
They can't even pick your call.
Yes.
So when it gets to that place, you need to sit and reflect. Usually it's a sign of redirection. You've been doing this thing for far too long. And sometimes for some people, you're in so much noise. The rug has to be pulled off of your feet. And you know,
yes.
Especially when you don't see it coming.
Yeah.
But even when you fall, you don't be too quick to stand. You first of all, gather yourself. So most people, when they fall, the idea is to get up really fast.
Save face.
Yes, that is one. Then two, what people do is now that they take on that identity. So unakulia mtu wa 15 years ago, man, mi nilikuwa naenda na ndege Kisumu, nilikuwa napanda mandege, nilikuwa naenda sijui nini. So when you look at the person, they live in a shack.
Yes.
So it's just become an identity. Like, life really happened too. Life happened, and nowadays we are just the way we are. This is how things are and how life has always been.
Yeah.
So rock bottom, you're not supposed to stay there for far too long, but people now stay there and it becomes their life. And they become people who never ever get back up because now they victimize themselves. So there's a lot of mindset shift that needs to happen at that time. That is a good time because you have all the time to yourself. When you have all the time to yourself, you need to protect the most important resource you have, which is your mind. Read, listen. That's what people are not inviting you out. You don't even have the money to go to town. That's the time you take that opportunity and then recalibrate. And usually you find something, because even for me, how I got here was the rock bottom bit when I started my public speaking. And I'm here grateful because if I hadn't lost that job, perhaps I'll still be working. I'll still be employed. But this is why it happened. And it's because I had a lot of time to myself, and I figured if I have this time to myself, I would rather figure out, why am I here? Why is this situation happening to me? And then gather all the forces that are around you and ask, how do I proceed moving forward? And stay in the silence. The answer will come. It always does. And it doesn't take long. By the time, for me, I usually recommend, if it has taken you 2 years, you're at rock bottom, it is bad because you're going to be in survival mode. And it will be very difficult for us to take you out of it, for you to be able to make money. Because from that place, making money is not going to be about resources, business. That is not the thing that will get you out of rock bottom. The thing that will get you out of rock bottom is the mindset shift and the ability to now, like what we call, bend reality in your favor. And you can't do that when you're survival mode, because when you're surviving, you don't have the ability to create. For you to get to our next place, you need creativity. The thing that takes you far is creativity. And if you're creative enough, you are open in your head, you can see opportunities. You see, it's the red car effect. Scientists say by the time we die, in fact, the older we grow, the less we use our brain capacity. So that means that by the time someone dies, I think you will have used not up to 20% of your brain capacity. So that means that the brain, most people's brains are underutilized. Because of the chaos and because of noise. So you can imagine if you sit in silence, your brain you're able to exhaust, or at least you're able to use more part of your brain. So when you're not in survival mode, your brain will go deeper into its repertoire, knowing who you are and your subconscious mind. And that is why, you see, if I start saying that there's no opportunities, it's like the red car effect. If I say I want a Range Rover, I mean, I want to buy Range, all of a sudden, I start seeing Range Rovers. They've always been on the road. But it's because a Range Rover has never been important to you. So the same thing happens to opportunities. If you keep on saying, Kenya, Kasongo, there's no money, Kenya ni ngumu, you'll never see opportunities. Because the brain knows opportunity seeking is not important for you. It's not important for you, yes. So by the time you open your brain in that sense, you start seeing opportunities. You go to ChatGPT, how can I do that? And then you enter God mode now, where you enter creator place, not victim. And that is where most people need to live. So a rock bottom is a very good place. It's a very good place to redirect you into a different path. But for most people, it even takes them out. They unalive themselves. Just don't stick too long. Don't stay too long. And assume that identity. All right. Another hot take or observation, basically, is through the years that you've allowed to be on socials, especially on your Facebook, I've seen you go through phases of the Rastafarian thing. I saw you. There's a 2023 video, very interesting video where you bringing back Jesus Christ in your life. Yes. And I'm like, this was not anywhere. This just the only place I found it was on Facebook. Very fascinating. And then now I went to your TikTok and I'm looking at your 2025 timeline and I'm like, wait, I thought we had Jesus in 2023. So I'm really curious on this, what has brought on all these, the changes in your faith and your belief system. So the first time I deconstructed was in 2017. So I deconstructed. I didn't have the tools at that time. Most people are not talking about deconstruction. There's no books for deconstruction, but I've always questioned religion. Always questioned religion. Yes, always. It just never sat well with me. So then I became a Rastafarian because it was the closest I could find something connected to Africanness. So when I started reading I was not just a Rastafarian by locks. I was a practicing Rastafarian. So you see, we have three houses of Rasta: Boboshanti, Nyabingi, and the 12 tribes.
Okay.
So I was part of the Nyabingi.
Great sister.
I was part of the Nyabingi.
Yes.
So this is like practicing. There's the tabernacle, there's reading of scripture, and the rest of it. It's like it was a thing. Because when I read the foundations of Rastafari, I loved it from, Haile Selassie, Makonnen.
And this is what timeline?
This is 2017 now, up until maybe 2022, 2021, thereabout.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was practicing for like 4 years. So 2017, 2021, thereabout.
Okay.
So I loved it when I read about Marcus Garvey and the rest of it. You see, like Haile Selassie is like Jesus, and then Marcus Garvey are like his prophets,
Yeah.
So it's a whole thing.
Yes.
So I loved it, but it wasn't like a religion. It's like a lifestyle. So you don't have like the rules, don't do this. But it's also very, but not that bad. But for me, if I was to go back to religion, I'll go back to maybe like being a Rastafarian. And I think that's because they have that connection to your roots, connection to Africanness. And that's when now I dropped the name Rachel and took on Nangami.
Okay.
So that was it. And then 2023, I think when I hit rock bottom really proper, and I was going through the void. So you see, the problem is when you deconstruct the first time, it's okay. You feel free, and then a time comes and you enter a void when now you enter chaos. And you see, when you enter chaos, most of the time you need a tether, you need an anchor.
Yes.
So for most people, they go back to the familiar.
Okay.
So for me, the familiar was Christianity, though I wasn't I was BSing myself, because even when I was saying it, I wasn't so convinced, but I was saying it because it was the proper thing to say.
Okay.
Like it was the only anchor I knew. But even in my conscience, deep down, I knew I'm BSing myself.
Okay.
But I still had to. That is why I wrote a lot about it, because I think it was a way of me trying to convince myself that this thing, I like it. Yes. So it was a way. You see, because the more you talk about something a lot, and you have, it's like when someone has a partner and they keep on talking about, my husband. Who are you trying to convince? Is it us or you?
Yes.
Because if it's something nice, you don't need to be talking about it.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what most people do.
Yes.
It's either trying to convince themselves, or they're trying to prove themselves that I finally found something that works.
Yes.
Because something that is enjoyable, you have so much time enjoying it, you don't even have to defend it.
Yes.
So that's what happened there. Okay. But I couldn't stick it for long. This was a BS. I stayed in it, I think, for a good 6 to 8 months.
Okay. Went to church a little bit?
Yes.
Went to church a little bit?
No.
You just welcome Jesus on Facebook.
It was just online. I was just watching things online, but I still didn't go to church. I could. For me, okay, I don't know if it's okay to say here, but for me, it's just too pretentious. It's just too mechanical. It's too. I couldn't be there. If I'll be found out. Okay. I don't do that. I just like I laugh at it. So I just laugh it. I'm just like, nah, I can't clown myself like that. Yeah. Nah. So just like, let me sit in the house and wait for those, once they're done with their praise and worship, and then the man of God comes, then I need to listen to what I need to listen to. Because I was selfish at the time. Okay. I was even listening to them because I needed that dose of motivation. That dose of motivation is what I wanted. Someone to just say, yes, when you believe it, that's what I wanted.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. But all the other things was like, nah.
So where we are at right now, 2026.
Yes.
What is your go-to now what is your belief system?
My belief system has changed, and I'm not so sure, because you see, I'm very open to change, because it's the only constant. So, but where I am right now, I think I'm going to be here a while. The way I was in Rasta, I will always vouch for Rasta. I still maintain the red, gold, and green. Yes. I'll always vouch for it. Like, I met the most amazing people, very calm, very self-reflective. So even where I am right now, I am more into what we call, I guess, African spirituality. Okay. That's where I am. And I'm so comfortable, and I think I'm home. I'm home and dry. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I gear towards. Not African traditional religion. African spirituality is a difference. People confuse the two.
What's the difference?
ATR and African spirituality. So African traditional religions are just religions, but in African traditions. Okay. So they are very much patriarchal. They are very much There's rules. This is what we do. Women don't do this. Men don't do that. People don't do this. We don't eat this. If you're a priest, you don't do this. If you're a priestess, you don't do that. Right? And you see, the spirituality has no laws. There's no rules. Okay. So African spirituality is about mind, ancestors, land, and indigenous knowledge.
Okay.
Yes. So those are the 4 things that make up African spirituality. So it's just you being you. You live in this world, but those are your foundations. So we respect land, we honor our ancestors, so it's not like rules, but those are the things that now you factor in. And then there's indigenous knowledge. So how did we eat? How did we live with others? How do we heal? How do we communicate with others without having to have those, he's a man, she's a woman, this is what we do, this is what we don't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was not part of the script, but let me just let me try go with it a little bit. So in our spare conversations when we tango with my director here, I think we've not recorded this one, but I'll go off on a limb and try.
Right.
So he asked me, so you're not very, you don't have Christian underpinnings yourself that much. So what do you believe in?
Okay.
What motivates you? What pulls you? Like, well, I'm tethered to Jesus and blah blah blah. So I'm like, I wasn't ready for that question, but the answer I gave him, I think I use it up to now because it was on a limb. I created that on a whim, and it was quite good. I told him, man, I kind of worshipped the altar of my ambition.
Okay.
Yeah, and the justification I gave him was, I don't think there's no amount of preaching, there's no amount of hellfire that you can promise me that will keep me on the straight and narrow like my ambition. And we always come back to that conversation, like, what do you think about it? Because like that response I gave, does it make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. It doesn't make sense to me because people don't have to believe in anything to succeed or to live a fulfilling life.
Okay.
You see, that is something that was promised to us, I guess, by religion.
Okay.
But you don't have to. You don't have to believe in anything. You don't even have to be atheist, agnostic. You don't have to call yourself anything.
You'll just be fine.
Whatever drives you. You see, whatever drives you, that's what drives you. Because at the end of the day, you're the captain. And whatever, you see, without the fear, devoid of it, because sometimes, you can question yourself, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
Maybe people are on the right path and I'm the one who's off and whatnot. No, it's unnecessary. Okay. It's unnecessary. I'll tell you this. Science proves that ritual is good for success. Ritual. So what is ritual? It could be burning a candle. It could be praying. It could be spending time with people at church. That is why even atheists, especially the ones who are scholars, they recommend church or the mosque, because that sense of community and that sense of an anchor and the ritual of prayer, so that, you see, your subconscious mind is smarter than you are, because it stores memory and information from as long as you existed here. Okay. Things that you don't even remember. Like I've said this, if I ask you about 2025, what do you remember? You have bits and pieces of the year. I went to a wedding, I went to a funeral, I did this, I married, But you don't remember the everyday life of you were in your kitchen and a knife dropped it. Your mind, subconscious mind captured all of that. It's still stored in your head.
Yes.
So there are certain places where you get in life, you're so stuck and you can't get out of that situation. Your subconscious mind at the time knows you're in shit at this point. It knows you're beat, you are out of resources, you're out of ammo. So when you light a candle and say, let me light a candle and pray to God, let me light a candle and call on my ancestors, that act, your subconscious mind now believes, the answer is here now. So it will go deeper and give you an answer. So unakuja unasema mimi niliomba kitu ikahapa. It's your brain.
Hot take.
It's your brain.
Yes.
It's your brain. Most of the time it's your brain. Nilienda nikalala answer ikakuja sijui ama it's your head.
Yes.
It's
they're all in you.
Yes, because now your brain was looking for something else outside of you.
Yes.
Yeah. It's it. So even for me, the things that I do, the act of ritual in itself is what will give you. And that's why people will say, nilienda katondoni nikarudi na answer.
Yeah.
Mungu aliongea. Nilirudi hivi
God spoke to me. Jesus spoke to me.
Nope. See, there are so many people who go to the same place and still don't come up with an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not everyone goes there or Heaven's Gate and they come with what they want.
Say
people who come and things becomes even worse.
They'll say God's time, it wasn't God's time. wait, those answers.
Yeah, people talk about God's. Yes. If I was to get into that, but you say the idea of God interfering in people's lives is an Abrahamic religious concept.
Okay.
Yeah. It's only in Abrahamic religions that God interferes in people's daily lives.
Oh, the story of Job?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. But when you look at the world,
look at
the world, look at Syria, look at Iran, look at all these places.
There's this screenshot I think on your timeline, and I'm like, bruh, what? This one, director, make sure you insert this one, because I believe it will make some people. This one. Let me read it out. I put my corrupt arch enemies in the same room with my children, and then send my one and only beloved child to save them from this enemy. If my kids become friends with my enemy and don't accept the human sacrifice I made to myself for their sake, I will burn them for eternity. Who am I?
But you see in the comment section, people got it.
Yeah. You have kuna watu wenye pia over time wamekuwa, they are now into Nangamism or something. So yes. If I may. So they kind of really were with you there. And I'm just like, wow, where do you get the balls to actually put this out there, metaphorical. No,
it's the worst thing that happened to me was to go through scholarship.
Okay.
Bible scholarship. Not theology, scholarship.
Okay.
Bible scholarship, to understand the genesis of
you self-schooled religion. Or you actually went to
no, just reading books from people who have written about extensively about the Bible, its history, when it was written, why it was written, why did people write, what was the context of what was being said. And it was the worst thing to have ever happened to me. Because now I got to see religion or Christianity, especially because I was raised in Christianity, for what it was. And because I know that the audience is also going to have people who are Christians, but it's not what we were sold.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not what we were sold. And it was, I think I had a moment of crying my childhood. Though I was always very skeptical about it.
I'm itching to
we were sold that God, the Christian God or Yahweh is the creator of the universe.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a Roman creation.
Okay.
We were sold that Jesus Christ was the Son of God.
Okay.
He wasn't. He wasn't.
Okay.
Jesus Christ died a very political death. It was
political assassination.
Yes, it was a political assassination.
Yes.
And for years, it was just a very small group of people who would meet, congregate, talk about this man who did all of these things and how he was put on the cross, because that's how they punished the insurgents. That's what he was called at the time, because he was a nuisance, to Rome.
Yes.
And then enter Paul. And then Paul was persecuting the Christians. And then Paul enters into the scene. It's like, this guy died. He was he was the Son of God. All of these things. That is why there's a place where I talk about the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of Paul are different. And that is why when you look at the Gospels, they don't agree on the resurrection. They don't agree on the death of Jesus. Okay. There's one that says when Jesus died, those are tear from the curtain. Then there's another one who says, people walked out of their graves. Then there's another one who says, by the last words of Jesus was, my father, why have you forsaken me? Then I think it is John who says, no, he said it is finished. Then there's, so his last words, they also don't agree. So there are three things that they don't agree. What happened during his death, what were his last words, and his resurrection. Kuna wenye alipatana nao kwa njia hawakumjua, kuna wenye alitembelea wamama, kuna mwenye walienda wakatumba wakapata kuna mtu. You see, so they don't agree, and it's because of the writings and when they were written. And coming to realize that actually they were written by anonymous guys. So the first three books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they talk about Jesus when he's referring to the Father. He's referring to God. So when they ask him, how do we pray to my Father? And then John is the one who now deifies, has a place where he deifies Jesus, where Jesus says, I am the vine. There's no one who can come to me except through the Father. So during all of that, Jesus being deified as God is in the book of John.
Okay.
It's not in these other books. So, and then when I read scholarship to come and find out that Paul wrote before the disciples wrote.
Okay.
Like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are written after Paul has written the first writings. Okay. The early writings of Christians were written by Paul. Jesus himself never wrote anything. The disciples, most of them never wrote anything. Okay?
Yes.
Paul comes and writes after our disciples hawajaandika. Na yeye alipapata. Alipata Yesu mwenyewe ashakufa. Paul says, Jesus appeared to me. Only Paul can prove that. And the only thing, let me tell you, Christianity as a religion is very self-guarded. Like it has an answer for everything. The way it has operated over years, it is well amalgamated. So it has an answer for everything. That is why now they say they were inspired by the Holy Spirit. Because when you ask them, prove, how do you know it is God? They say, the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, the Holy Spirit.
How can you dispute
that
it?
corner, yes.
You can't dispute it. Yes. The Trinity is not in the Bible.
Yes.
The Trinity is an early theological inclusion.
Okay.
Satan, from scholarship work, Satan does not exist in the Old Testament. It's a recent inclusion. Now, you see people who have read Bible theology and people who do scholarship.
Yes.
Is very different because scholarship is about the people who wrote. The thing about Yahweh is a Jewish thing. It's a Jewish name. It is very disrespectful. Christians don't know this. It's very disrespectful for Christians to call on Yahweh. Because Yahweh is not supposed to be, it was banned from being used as a word. That's why the Jews who's are operating in the, you see, the Bible, Old Testament is Jewish. True or false? It's Judaism.
Yes.
Jesus was a Jew. Yes. He practiced Judaism. He didn't practice Christianity. He died a Jew. He died in Judaism. He did not come to change the law. Simple.
Yes.
So he died in Judaism. Christianity starts in the middle of Judaism. It's like a small thing in Judaism.
Yes.
Paul is the one who universalizes it. Rome institutionalizes it.
Yes.
But I will get into that maybe later.
Yes.
So what happens is that they used to go off on the name Yahweh. Remember, the Bible is written in a period of 1,500 years. So many people have come and written during different times. So they change. They don't go into Yahweh. The theologians, watakwambia vitu mingi hapo, it's because of translation. No. The name Yahweh, when you just do a simple Google search, the name Yahweh was so powerful a name because of what Yahweh had done to the children of Israel, that they stopped calling the name Ovio. It was such a powerful name. Only priests once a year were allowed to call on the name Yahweh. So as they transform and as they grow over the years, they start calling him Abba or Adonai. That is why when Jesus comes, there's nowhere in the New Testament Jesus refers to God as Yahweh.
Okay.
Yeah, Jesus has never called God Yahweh. Because the Jews, he's born into the Jewish tradition and they are no longer using the term Yahweh because he's a Jew. So once Christopher is wrong. And that is why even the scholars, Bible scholars, they don't call on that name because it's disrespectful to Judaism. It's disrespectful to the Jews because they changed the name to Abba. So what happens is that when you see the blood bath, and one of the things maybe as I conclude that I learned was that obviously anybody who will do a simple Google search on AI, they realize that Yahweh was part of the Canaanite pantheon. So it was a council of gods. Yeah. And the head god was El. That is why there are two gods who create in Genesis. There's a God who creates in Genesis 1, and there's a God who creates in Genesis 2. In Genesis 1, there's a God, I need maybe to check, I've forgotten, I confused them. Man is created before animals. Then there's another God who creates animals before man. So that's where there's always a contention, people asking, who are these gods who are creating? Why does one? And that is why people follow on the second one, because the second one is where now the woman is created from the rib. The one who creates at first creates man and woman equal.
At the same time.
The second one creates man, then after some time creates woman from his rib. So who are these two gods? Now, when you read about the council of the Canaanite pantheons, El was the chief god. Then there were other gods. There was the one that Elijah went to fight, Baal. Then there's Asherah. Asherah is a consort. So gods had consorts. which are the female gods, the goddesses.
Okay.
That's why you hear people say the goddesses of the feminine was removed from scripture. Yes. So they had the Asherah, and the Asherah used to be represented by a pole because she was the goddess of fertility. She was the goddess of like family, because women, womb and whatnot. And then we had Yahweh, then we had Chemosh, all these gods. So El gives inheritance to his sons. That's why they call the sons of El. And now Yahweh, who had come as a god, they say he had come from Egypt. That god was brought from Egypt into this Canaanite pantheon. That is why Yahweh in the Old Testament was a storm god, and he was a warrior god. That is why anakuanga Mungu wa majeshi. And when
that's where that statement comes from.
Yes, Mungu wa majeshi. And that's why when he shows up in a storm.
Okay.
Yes, so he was a god of storm with a small g. And that is why now Yahweh goes on a rampant to destroy other gods. And then at some point, El and Yahweh now merge, because El has no other gods now to rule over. That is why Elijah goes on a showdown between Yahweh and Baal. It was a showdown between gods. And that's why there's a part in the scripture where it says, why don't you know that ye are gods, but you will die like man? It wasn't a conversation where God was saying that you are God, where people usually like to say it. The Bible says we are gods. No, it was a conversation between gods. When you look at the scholarship work, that context was Yahweh was saying to the other gods, because you see Yahweh is a storm god, and these other gods are like gods of agriculture, the god of fertility, the gods of what, like a story. Yeah. So that is why even when Moses goes to the mountain, he asks, who shall I say sent me? Because Moses knew they were gods. When that thing is happening, they were different gods. That's why he says, I am that I am sent you. And the moment he goes to Egypt, Pharaoh is worshipping other gods, because other gods existed. And when he's given the 10 commandments, he's given the first instructions that the children of Israel should not worship any other gods other than me, because they were gods. There were other gods. Yeah. So there's a whole story there. So when El was distributing inheritance, he gives Yahweh Israel. That's why he's called this God of. If he was the God of the universe, a prophet would have appeared from Africa. A prophet would have appeared from China, would have been sent. He was just a god of a small tribe.
Yes.
So whoever was responsible for taking Yahweh to the rest of the world was Rome.
Okay.
Yes. So even especially during the Council of Nicaea, when the bishops are having problems on whether was Jesus God or not.
Yeah.
So the emperor, was it Constantine?
Constantine, yes.
Yes. He sits with them in a room and he says, Rome is split.
Yeah.
There are certain people who say Jesus was God, and there are certain people who say Jesus wasn't God. And there are cardinals for those, and they say, we vote.
Yeah.
We move out of this place. It was a political move. One God, one Rome, one leader. Now. So they vote, and the people say Jesus was God. And Constantine sends the other cardinals to what? Exile. The ones who are against, wakatupwa exile. Then Constantine comes and says to Rome, tumeamua as cardinals and as the emperor, that there's only going to be one nation, one God. So Jesus Christ is going to be the head of Rome. So whatever I do, Jesus has told me to do.
Why?
So, and then they go into the world. So that's why Roman Catholic become the first church.
Yeah.
And the church and the politics are one.
One.
And that is why Rome now includes pagan rituals into Christianity. Now they bring Christmas. Now they bring the Gregorian calendar. It was Pope Gregory who came up with the Gregorian calendar. We didn't have a Gregorian calendar. We were using the lunar calendar. A year, according to the Chinese and even the African calendar, has 13 months. But then we had religion, and Bishop Gregory, Pope Gregory, they came up with the 12th month. They came up with the Mondays, what? Yeah. So it's all...
I feel like I'm not qualified enough to push back on this. So my director here might have something for you before we move on to the next one.
No, I don't have a question, but thank you for giving. I told him I will always take any opportunity they give me at a guest, and so I'm always so grateful to ask anything. so I'm a bit of a Bible scholar, but I don't want to go there. I'm really curious about the deconstruction, and especially about I feel sometimes that when people go like this, they're like borderline conspiracy theory, and then they just... So are you not afraid that you might be leaning a little bit into deception? And I ask this just, like, I may have been quoting a lot of history and a lot of like intellectual stuff, which has come from books, I presume, that were written by people who could have been lying.
Okay.
So are you not a little bit afraid of the deception? And how do you think you're going to deal with the deconstruction moving forward? Is this an end, or is it a process for you?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And I get that question a lot when people say books were written by people. It's like saying we shouldn't trust science because it was written by people. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are people who do research. You see, religion does not stand alone.
Yeah.
It's not immune to scrutiny.
Yeah.
So it can be interrogated, and people should be open for things to be interrogated, right? So scholars are not people who sit and then think things. They're people who go, they look for archaeological evidence. There's no archaeological evidence that the Noah's flood happened. True or false? There's no archaeological evidence.
Yes.
About the Exodus, it's not as dramatic as they say it was. The waters parting and whatnot. Akapita and whatnot.
Yes.
It's not as dramatic as they say it was, right? In fact, it's called the Water of Reeds. Reeds, REDS, not Red Sea. The Sea of Reeds, Sea of REEDS. So there are people and scholars, there are Muslim scholars and there are Jewish scholars and there are Christian scholars. So they believe in the religion, but they go to look for the information to verify. So they're not speaking out of turn. They're not speaking because they hate the religion or something. Okay, you have said that the Holocaust happened. We need to find the truth. Did it happen? Were there camp sites? Yes. People will go 100 years from today and they might find something to show that the Holocaust happened. So if you say that there was the Noah's thing, where was it? If you say that 500 people resurrected after Jesus died, who wrote? Who wrote about it in Rome at the time when Romans were journalists, when they were writing things? So who wrote? Who was there physically and said, hey, this thing had never happened and we saw it? There's no evidence. That's why it's only in the Bible. If there was something to contradict it, someone would have come and said that this was a journalist at the time who wrote, because they were writing things. When the thing about the, what is it called? The one Pontifa or Potiphar, there's writings about him. He exists. The people who talked about the things that he did when he was adjudicating for the matter, there's writings for that. So people are asking, where is this? So they go and look for verification. That's what brings scholarship. Because scholarship is like the science of religion. Let us prove that this thing exists.
Or disapprove.
Yes. That is why now there are so many people who don't understand the Council of Nicaea. But the Council of Nicaea is there. There's information about Constantine and what they said, right?
Documented history.
It's documented. So for me, the thing that, as someone who is trying to read, I had to read, and the most painful thing that I had to read was even deconstructing Jesus Christ himself, the man, right? And it's very painful, even for me to do. To come and say, like, he's not the Son of God, the way we were told. Like, even for me, do you know I went into the void for a whole month? I wasn't so sure about what I had gotten myself into. What is this? What is this information? As someone who was walking around saying, I'm a child of God, me and Jesus, I'm a Jesus girl. Do you know what that means to you? When you wake up one morning and then you read, then you read especially even when it comes to the writing, how the Holy Spirit comes, the concept of the Holy Trinity comes together. It was a theological conundrum, because they couldn't explain it. That Judaism does not have Son of God. God is one, Yahweh. Yahweh has no friends, has no sons, has no wife, has nothing. So when Jesus dies, from a theological perspective, when people are saying he was the Son of God, they had to reconcile. How do you say he was the Son of God when from the Jewish perspective, God is one, does not have a consort, does not have anything? That is why now the substance comes in. It is 3 persons in one, it is 3 they had to reconcile it with the Trinity and now talk about the Holy Spirit now becoming part of it. It is all there. It is work. It's theological work written by people too. And it's because, you see, once you are raised in a place where you have been told the same thing over and over again, it becomes difficult to want to challenge it. And also, Director, what I would say is this: it's not that we have an answer. I don't think there's so much we know. Yeah. There's still, I think, so much we don't know. Yes, and that is why, for me, I'm better off saying I don't know than speaking with authority on something that I don't know about. Because we are putting this thing on our heads. Yeah. That is a problem for the Israelites. We are not Israelites. We don't do like Israelites. We don't. It's a problem for the Israelites. We beba mizigo. We are defending the
every time you say it. Gets me every time.
It's not a problem, actually. Yeah. You see the way we have, the same we have Oludumare, the same way we have Nyasai, the same way we have Ngai. So can you imagine some white person akoko hivyo ana defend Ngai? Kwa sijui hapana alikuwa kwa Mount Kenya. Sijui it has nothing to do with them. It's just a Kikuyu thing.
Yes.
Yeah. The only ones who understand why they have ancestral clans that are named after women.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
What the next question?
Yes.
What happens? What's the next step? When the deconstruction, where I'm curious where this ends. For me, it feels like a very intellectual process. So, I mean, just imagine yourself 10 years from now. What's that process for you?
Okay. Yeah. I don't have the answer to that. So for me, I've brought myself to the place where if I must worship something, then let me worship what looks like me. Let me follow what looks like me.
Yeah.
I think it's easier that way because the way we have been conditioned to worship and to believe in something.
Yeah.
And it's something that we cannot take ourselves away from. Like, we just have to tether ourselves to something. So if I have to tether myself to something, then let me go to something that looks like me. And you see, deconstruction is not about like, it's you can deconstruct and still go back to it because you're like, yeah, I have the truth. I have the realities of things, but I'm comfortable here. It still makes sense to me. That's why I've said that they are Christian scholars. This guy on TikTok is called Dan McClellan. He's one of the best scholars. Most Bible scholars I see on TikTok are atheists, but he's a scholar and he's a Mormon. And people usually ask him, how do you marry the two? You know what you know, but why are you still in it? And he says for his personal reasons, community, and he still, speaks for his...
Valid.
Yeah. The same thing happens to Islam. Islam ikideconstructiwa hapa naweza kimbia mbio. Ukisikia deconstruction ni Islam. But it's just because I think Islam is another religion that has high levels of intolerance. That's why most people don't. Yeah. So the Christians are easy. Yeah, we can sit here and talk about Christianity, talk about Islam naweza patana na kopa hapo nje.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I like about
very
Christianity.
About
Yes. So one thing I like about Christians is that they don't like it a lot, but at least they don't take it personally.
They won't go try harm you.
Yeah. But they're also Islamic scholars. Like they interrogate the Quran and they'll tell you, okay, ilikuwa people, ilikuwa culture, this was this, that, and that. But it wasn't like, it's not universal truth. Because you see, Christianity is Jewish culture by and large. So it's just people's culture that we're putting on our heads and then we're saying, this is what we do, this is what we say, this is what... It's just people's culture.
You just echoed before you were calling statements.
Oh, that's what you said.
I asked him that question. He answered exactly the same way you answered.
Yes.
Religion is just a culture of a people.
Yes, it's a culture of a people. Yes. Yeah. It's
another one. Monogamy is not natural.
Ooh. Yes, it's not.
Yes. What is?
People are monogamish. Let me just say that. Monogamish. So monogamish means that they have the ability to be monogamous.
Okay.
If they want to. But it's not natural.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. If it was natural, you see, something as natural as giving birth, a woman giving birth, she doesn't have to be sane. You can still impregnate her. A man doesn't have to be seen. He can still impregnate a woman. It's natural. As long as biologically they are fertile.
Yes.
They can do it even when they're insane. The same thing happens to the concept of submission. They're not natural. If you have to enforce it, then it's not natural.
Or write laws to
if you have to write laws to it, then it's not natural. So monogamy is not natural. Like human beings, how they have evolved, we were not polygamous, but culture, law, and religion now forces people to be monogamous, and especially religion is what brought about monogamy. That's why polygamy, even in African settings, was okay, because marriage wasn't about love. You see, nowadays it's a problem because people get married for love. So I can't allow you to love someone else. You have to love me. Our grandmothers used to stay with other people because people were getting married for things. They were getting married for survival. They were getting married for family. They were getting married to look for workers.
Alliances,
so a man has 50 acres of land. And you see, Africans were not capitalistic. Let me talk about Africans. Africans were not capitalistic. So they never paid people to work for them. So you had to look for people to work for you. So who are the people to work for you? You give birth to kids.
Yeah, as many
as possible. And one woman cannot give you all those kids. So you add many wives. Yes. Yeah, that was it. It wasn't about love. That is why there are so many women who used to get married, even the Maasai, and there would be a stick out there, still in the house. Yeah. Or the women who got married and they had a lover elsewhere. Yeah, because it wasn't about love. It was just about survival.
Yeah.
But by and large, okay, let me give you from an evolutionary standpoint.
Yes.
We go as far back as hunter-gatherers. So we move from hunter-gatherers, then we come to the agrarian revolution, then we go to industrial revolution, then we come to where we are now, and we're in information technology. So agrarian, this is what? Hunter-gatherers. They haven't even discovered fire. People haven't even discovered fire. So you see, we are going off on science. We're not going off on religion, where people just woke up and started walking and started having fire everywhere. At least we know that fire was one of the first inventions of technology.
Really changed.
Changed everything, because they just used to eat fruits and berries, and the lifespan was very short because animals, diseases, and whatnot. We have transformed to be here. So that time they used to live in very small communities, and people used to go and hunt and do stuff. So as they are moving now across, people are spreading. They are going all over the place. What would happen is that a woman would sleep with any man, right? And I would sleep with you and say, this guy is tall and dark. I want that gene. And then this one is a very good smith. So I want my baby to have those genes. That's why people say, even here, Kenakibe say it was hypergamy. Like women get married to the strongest, or they want the best in the group. And then they will look at him and like, this one is an athletic or something. So back in the day, because there was no knowledge of science, a woman would think, if I sleep with these 3 men, I would have all of those genes in one.
Aggregates the
because she was looking out for offspring. But as the community is growing and becoming bigger, and they're moving out looking for more land, or not land, but looking for more fruit, more things to eat and to do, there are women who are now getting pregnant. So women who are getting pregnant have to stay behind. They can't go and hunt. There is pandamti. So someone has to provide for them. So who is providing? A man. Because men are not getting pregnant. So you come and say, I plan an Nangami then. I will take care of you. I will go out there. I will look for fruits. I will look for berries, and then I'll come and give it to you. Okay, so this is gathering time. Now they go into hunting. They have invented fire. They can go and hunt for animal and bring it back. So you say, Nangami, I'll take care of you. You stay home. You take care of the babies. I'll go and hunt. I'll go and gather and come and give it to you. I will take care of you. Then unamkakasha unasema hata naweza take care of Nafula pia. I can take care of 2 women. So you go. That is where the provision thing came from. So men are providers and protectors. That's when they started now protecting the women. So women now stopped doing what? Going to hunt and gather. So this is the time now they are building homes. They have discovered fire. So they can build homes, they can do things, they can light fires at night. So the men have to go and hunt and bring it home. And then now enter, the society grows and they move. So marriage now, in its rawest form, starts like that. And then we enter the Victorian era now, where people are getting married for wealth. So the rich men are the ones who are marrying. So according to the European, but even in Africa, it was the same. So the men who are not physically fit, who are weak, the men, because weakness was not about intellect, it was about physical strength. So the people who are born small and short, so they go to the one who has money, who is tall, who has everything. So religion comes in later on. I'm just skipping things. It comes in later on, and it says one man, one woman, because it is factoring the weak ones. At least wale wa weak pia wapate mtu.
Yes.
So then they come with the Romeo and Juliet concepts. There's just that one man for you. So it really helped now survival of the fittest and in pruning things from society, because then that means the weak used to die. So the men who the genes maybe were not okay, wanna dead, because they just ends there. They can't
ends with them, yes.
Yeah, it ends with them because they can't get a woman. That means they don't have offspring to continue with that. Then religion comes and it brings this romantic story. Now there's people get married for love, but human beings by and large, and that is why women cheat, men cheat naturally. And ask people who cheat, they'll tell you it's actually fun. Yeah, just knowing that you can go around people deceiving this one or having this, like options. The idea of variety.
They are calling it psychopathy. In some other text, they are calling it psychopathy of sorts.
Yeah, I've interacted with that text, but I think by and large, with the psychology of it, for me, when I look at it from an evolutionary standpoint,
it adds up.
It does add up. People by and large are not. Like people, you see, if you were born in a society where you didn't have school, you didn't have religion, you would not have the idea. You would not alone just say, oh, I just want Nangami alone. Someone has to tell you that story. Yeah. Otherwise, you remember when you're just a small boy, when you couldn't go, no. It's because that's what's natural. You used to like different girls because that's what's natural to you. Someone has to tame you. Someone has to tame you a lot.
Yes.
And that is why if there was no law, if there was no law to deity, if you cheat, you lose your property.
Yes.
That is what these men are afraid of. Tukiachana ataenda aseme niko na evidence alikuwa na huyo ili mali imeenda.
Yes. Hilarious, man. You also say something to the effect of that broke men, romance is not for broke men. Or what was it? It's a really funny statement. Let me see if I have it here. Love is a Western concept and romance is for broke men. And wanakuja na mapenzi mingi, they have to overcompensate because they don't have the qualities or the values. So they have to come with these beautiful stories, carry unnecessary flowers.
Yeah.
Unauliza mama maganda, pia tena because they want these things.
But I think it works. Yes. It works. Society, Disney has done a very good job. The church.
Yes,
the thing I like about at least Muslims are not BSing themselves.
No, they are not.
Yeah, so you see that thing is only applied to Christian people because Muslim men don't have that problem.
They don't have that nonsense at all.
It's just a Christian thing. Other communities don't have that problem. Other beliefs don't have that problem. It's only with that concept of romance. And you see, it's a Victorian concept because even the capitalists, you see, even rich men hate poor men. In fact, there's no group of people that hate poor men than rich men. Yeah, they don't. Most rich men don't like poor men. As ladies, when we sit around rich men, they'll tell you, we ni mrembo sana, unafanya nini wanaume hawana pesa? Una maskini unafanya nao nini? You see, there's no rich man who's going to advocate for a poor man. I've never seen one.
They put in the work. They deserve all the...
No. They because you see, it's a form of strength too, because money is power.
Yes.
And so someone who has power will always look down at people who don't have power. And that is why men who don't have power are the ones who are misused in society, in life. And marriage is the only place that gives that now a man that power. That is why men, they talk about, I want to have a family so that I can build my empire. I can build my kingdom. What kingdom? Kingdom gani unaishi? Ongwaro. I want to create my kingdom. This is, that's the only place a man can feel like a king. Life in So at least you need a place where you can have a territory and say, now this is my,
however small it is.
Yes, however small it is, you can say, now these are my servants. Yes. Here when I say things go, nikisema fanya, nikisema nawisha kama because out there, they're the ones who are doing the submission. So you need someone to submit to you too.
Oh man. Someone else someone else in 1971, Esther Villa. I don't know if you wrote the book,
No,
The Manipulated Man.
Oh, yes.
She also, what does she say? She's of the opinion, I'll read, me, I don't have that good memory like our viewers. She argued that many men mistake voluntary sacrifice for oppression, and many women mistake dependence for love. So my question here was, is there any part of that argument that you think modern society refuses to engage with?
Yeah, he's very right on he's right on the money. It's very true. I don't think I even have anything else to add, because that's so true. Dependency for women is
misconstrued.
And that's how the modern now dating scene has been built on. I need to depend on you so that I can know you love me. So when you pay my bills and you take care of me and you tell me kuna shida gani ni what?
Yes.
So that dependency, that's love, and also reverse is for the men too.
She was criticized a lot. Backlash, big time.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did she, if you've read the book and the fallout that came out, the women rights groups were up in arms and shit. Did she go too far? Because she called women names in that book.
I think when I stand on the side of women, we also don't have a good relationship with criticism.
Yeah.
And we don't have a good relationship with accountability. we don't. And you say because we are fragile, because women have been conditioned to be tools, like you say, even when it comes to sex, like sex happens to women. It's not something they do. That is why if I have sex with you and then you dump it to me, because it's not something that I participated in. It's something you did to me.
Yes.
And that is why even when I get pregnant, wanauliza nani alimfanya hivi? Who did this to you? So it's something that happens to you.
Yeah.
It's not something that you participated in, like you are a willing participant.
Willing participant.
Yes, in that regard. So even the things that she wrote, because it's those are not things that are usually said, especially for women, and especially when it comes to calling out a particular mindset, that dependent mindset, that that pity, that we are here because we give our wombs, and therefore we like, please pull out the red carpet for me, let me walk. This is a lot that I'm doing in the, yes, it is a lot. I'm not going to underplay it or downplay it. Yes. It is a lot just carrying a baby to love. That's why if it was easy, I would have 10, but it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Fair. So there is also a little bit still on Esther Villa. She got divorced.
Okay.
And she has a famous quote.
Okay.
Regarding this whole divorce of hers. She says, "I did not divorce the man, but the institution of marriage." So I got an inspiration for a question there. Is there any of your own teachings that you struggle with? The things that you teach yourself, is there any of it that you struggle with? Because here we have Esther Villa also ending up divorced, having said things about.
In fact, that is one of, I really like that we agree on that. And it's something that you brought out, which she brought out very clearly. And it takes someone who has depth to understand when she says, "I did not divorce the man, it was the institution." Because and that is, you see, sometimes even when it comes to marriages, they don't work not because the person is bad, but the institution requires too much. It takes there are so many rules and so many laws. They're just like F the institution, man. I would be okay with you if we just be out there, we bang, we do things, and we keep it moving. Yes, instead of all this, now we have to perform, now we have to do this, now I have to tolerate you. 15 years later, I don't feel the same thing about you, and then I have to stay because I'm loyal to the institution and not to you. You see, I have no issue against you. I get bored, people get tired, people get exhausted, people refuse to change, and where you're going, someone is not coming. You see, and it's nothing personal, but now you have to stick, and people even stick because of that interdependence. Like you've been dependent on each other for too long that just, she's not who she was before, he's not who he was before, but mama watoto mani baba watoto wangu sasa tutafanya aje? And it brings you to that place. So and it's like it's a sentence. But even for me, the thing that I struggle with, what am I teaching do I struggle with a lot? I don't know. because I've not been in relationships, like very committed relationships, especially when you go to that regard, I don't think I can have something to say about that.
Okay.
Because I think I live by most of what I talk about.
Yes.
But maybe on a general term, procrastination.
Okay. You procrastinate
a lot.
Okay.
Am I procrastinating and I'm just lazy?
Thin line.
I think I'm just lazy.
Yes.
Procrastination is better. So I think for me, I'm just lazy. So I will talk about to do things that you need to do, but then again, I struggle to, like, I have to pull myself to do the things I need to do.
Okay.
I would be far, far, far from where I am today if I didn't procrastinate a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. So as we touch down, is there what would be the strongest argument against your philosophy and say your teachings, venye unafundisha, especially basing on your TikTok, right?
Right.
Yeah. Like if you were to self-critique, what would be like the strongest critique of your work? Just from what you hear, from
that African spirituality is by and large witchcraft.
Is what now?
Witchcraft.
Yeah,
by and large witchcraft.
Okay.
Yes. That is the biggest critique that I think I get, and also the thing that I struggled with myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you deal with such a criticism?
Yeah, because we have Africans, unfortunately, we have inferiority complex.
Yes.
So unless a white man has rubber stamped it, we don't give it credit. And that is why it's very easy for us to quote. I was saying this even in a podcast, I think maybe a few days ago. That's why it's easy for us to quote Socrates, Plato, Marcus Aurelius, philosophers, as if someone says, my grandfather, Wanjala Wekesa said this.
It does not have scholarly gravitas.
Akona philosophy gani? What philosophy is that?
Yes.
You see, because first of all, we didn't document our work.
Yes.
So we don't have reference.
Yes.
We don't have place to refer. How we lived with each other, how our philosophy was. So even our practices, our rituals, because you see, people have rituals. All nations have rituals. They have their ways, and they remember. Even Hitler was saying this. Even Hitler, yes, he goes down in history as, a monster. But Germans have never come out to distance themselves from the Germans who instigated the Second World War. They've not come out to say, our ancestors were wicked, they were evil, they were killing people and putting them in gas chambers. Because Hitler was able to get away with what he got away because the Germans, most of them were behind him.
Yes.
They supported things he was doing to the Jews. And they have never distanced themselves from it. But the African, first of all, was told that he's the offspring of Shem who was cast. And that is why we are black. We are burnt. I think it's also in the Mormon foundations that we're the children of the devil. And that is why we came out burnt. That's why we are black like this, like the devil. And people have bought that story wholesale, and therefore they qualify slavery and colonization that we deserved it because of our ways.
Yes.
Our ways, when you look at history, we did not conquer lands and kill people from those lands. It's there in the Old Testament. People would go and find kids, the disabled, women, animals, and they would kill them. And the Israelites are not saying their ancestors were witches. When you look at or they were wicked. When you look at Jesus Christ when he's dying, they say that Moses and Elijah show up. So those are ancestors. But when I say that my grandmother showed up, it's witchcraft. So if it doesn't have the stamp of the white man, then it doesn't qualify. When you look at the Bible, when it starts even in the Old Testament and the New Testament, it starts with Jesus' genealogy, the remembrance of his forefathers. And it's something that if you asked an African man today, who is your 10th grandfather? 10 generations from today, they don't know. We didn't write them, we didn't document. People don't even know their grandfathers 3 generations ago, what they did, what they had. It's a shame,
by the way, yes.
Yeah, it's such a shame. And then when they took away from us, they gave us white names. So names that we don't even have a connection to. And so when I talk about African spirituality, it is so foreign to Africans, which is such a shame. And until the white man today has said that walking barefoot is good, and they're like, wow, after we bought shoes. and our ancestors used to walk barefoot. Nowadays, people are saying, consciousness, you're one with everything. But our ancestors knew they were one with everything. Yes. They didn't know the 12 laws of the universe, but we studied about rainmakers. We have them, as rekerez here. Yes. If you have a wedding, you call someone an akapale, and they watch out for the rain. How are they able to bend that reality? We'll never know. Even the people who sit in that place will never know. They will never care to learn because and those are people who never studied the Hermetic principles. They don't know. But they were mediums. They were able to tell. They were prophets. They were able to tell so many things that have happened today. But the African is not aware of them. And they don't care to find out. The Italian women, the Indian women, the Mexican women, the Chinese women have got their small rituals that they do for womanhood, for even their own wombs. What does the African woman do? Nothing. She doesn't have it. Yeah. She was totally stripped of her essence. And that is why Africans have split identity. We look for the West. We have tried Western spirituality. Now we are going to the East. Meditation, sijui nini, hizo vitu zote. So we are quoting things from the East. And then I don't know when it will ever land to Africa, but here Africa anymore. You can't even touch it. That is why here in Western news, here people tell you, I was driving, then I saw a woman. She was walking, and then I drove again like 30 minutes, and then I saw the same woman somewhere, and she was on foot. So you want to ask, do you know how that happens? No, new chawi. So we've already shut down that conversation to know how that happens. And there are people who will use our knowledge. That's why we call it indigenous knowledge, to find out how is someone able to astral project. Wait for the white man. The white man will go and study and then come and tell you what astral projection is. But we used to see it in African spirituality, in Afro cinema. So we used to see they would look at a basin and then they will see someone in Lagos and they're in the village. We used to think that was a movie. No, that's African technology. Have we ever tried to be able to know how that happens? Well, how did it used to happen? It's witchcraft. Yeah, because the white man came and said that's witchcraft. But that was our science. Why do you think the first time they landed on this continent, they criminalized natural resources? They criminalized mountains, they criminalized rivers, and they criminalized forests, because that's where people used to worship.
Yes.
So they criminalized those places. Yes. So they criminalized. We used to handle our conflicts, especially around the waters. I've read of stories where they used to say that if a river swallowed someone, the elders or the practitioners would come and speak to the water, and they would ask the water to spit their person. And then a few kilometers in the other village, they will say, Mtu wenu amepatikana hapa. Full, dead, yes. But no crocodile, nothing has harmed them, no fish, they're still intact. Come and take your person, I'll cook up. How are they able to do that? No, you can't be able to tell. There are people who will tell you that my grandfather died. And my father died somewhere, and used to appear to me and say, mumeniacha kwa kichaka na kupigwa na baridi, kujeni mnichukue. And then you don't know, oh, that is where he died. They would go, why do you think even us as Bukusus would go where someone had died, the same way they did to Amalo when he died in the UK, to go and bring his spirit back home? Or when people die somewhere, road accident, you go and you take that spirit from there. Because that place becomes a what? Black spot.
Yes.
It happens every other anniversary there. They will say, oh, ni mapepo, oh, ni nini. Even in church, people say, rest in peace. Because a spirit needs to rest in peace. If it doesn't, it causes havoc even in the bloodline. The problems that we have today as Africans is happening in the bloodline. There are contracts that were made, there were things that were done, and because we don't interrogate them, we wish them away, we pray them away, and they don't go. They still come back to hunt you. And that is why even the pastors who know the things that we are saying, they don't go to ancestral land to pray for that place. Takwambia kuja kwa kanisa, they know that territory has its own operating. You just don't go there kuleta kifua yako ati tumekuja sijui kufanya aje. That's why even for our people we say ancestral land haiuzwi. We used to say that back in the day. Okay, nowadays we have sold ancestral land and the rest of it. But it's because we had our own modus operandi. And we have never investigated those things. Why? We're inferior. Our way of life is not good enough to be... There are certain things that need to go, like most cultures. Racism was a white thing, but they had to abolish it. But they haven't gotten off their superiority.
Yeah.
But us, we have not yet gotten over our inferiority. Siku moja watakuja waandike about, oh, by the way, you can speak to your ancestors. Don't know Africa, sasa wanasema, it is true, it is true. You can.
Yeah. So another one here, the burden of knowledge. You know quite a bit. Has it, especially now the gender dynamic, has it made your relationships, a relationship with, say, a man, a man you've dated, has it made it easier or made it harder?
No, it makes it hard. Viewers, I don't bite.
Time-lapses.
Put a ring. Please, someone, anyone.
Any of my time-lapses
anyone.
Who can be able to handle all this knowledge.
Please do. Hata wanaona. Si hata nyinyi mmeona. Mimi ni mzuri sana. I'm very charming, very, very lovely. In person, very. Mtu anichukua niweke kwa nyumba jamani. Yeah, sometimes it makes it difficult.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can be at loggerheads on a couple of things. So yeah, it makes it. It needs someone who's very, very, very open-minded. So first of all, someone who's not religious.
I saw a video where you put down Christian boys big time. You're like, if someone is saying Jesus, Abba Father, blah blah blah, out. It's okay. Disqualification ya kwanza.
Yeah, disqualification.
And I was like, ouch, director, ouch.
But the director ametoka kwa list.
I shared that with you, right? TikTok is like, share with John. And he catch by the way.
Sasa tunaona pool imekuwa ndogo. Pool tayari imeenda imekuwa ndogo because obviously is it 90% of Kenya or maybe 80% of Kenya.
Rajifanyanga wa Kristo sana by the way. Yes.
He's very Christian, so because there are very many beliefs that for me I consider them very misogynistic.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm also grateful for is that so many Africans, and not just Kenyans, so many Africans are deconstructing, questioning things, questioning patriarchy, questioning capitalism, questioning even the things that we do as women. And you see, having that conversation and being open-minded. Now, I'm not closed, like things have to, like if I have a partner, okay, this is something that I can live with. Like if this is how they believe on a particular matter, I will not even argue with it. I'll just try and live with it.
Yeah. But
it's not something that is threatening. It's not dangerous. It's an ideology that doesn't affect me. It's just there. But if it makes it someone is done it tukiongea, maybe I'm trying to challenge them and I'm just giving an opinion. Yeah.
I feel you. All right. Lastly, I was just scrolling through your TikTok, then I see you holding that camera thing, and you're telling them girlies to talk to their yonis, and I'm like, what is a yoni? I'm like, what the hell, Nangami? And I understood why you usually tell the gentleman to like leave the conversation.
Yes, it's awkward.
Yes, like what's that all about? Talking to your yoni. Equals vagina, by the way. So from a very, let me call it spiritual perspective. So this is not like we're speaking science, because science explains the physical world, but how we live. All of us have experienced the supernatural. Yes.
And there are things that have happened to you, and you can tell it wasn't physical. It's something that I can't even explain. It's something that is supernatural. So I have that understanding of the spiritual aspects of things. Yes. So the yoni is obviously, thank you for even telling them it's the vagina. And for women, you say the brain has been studied a lot because men have a brain, right? So a lot of money has been poured into studying the brain. So we can talk about all these neurons and whatnot that are happening in the brain.
Yes.
But the brain is not the only place that is for creation. That is why everything you have to create it in the mind. So we can talk about all of that because the people who have the money to take it behind research are men. And they're the ones who are in charge of medicine, and they're the ones who are in charge of money. So we have done all this extensive research on science and the rest of it. But this is also another creative portal that has not been studied because we don't have the money, we don't have the research. But someone somewhere will fund it, and then you realize, oh, it has nerves. Oh, it also has this that you can also be able to create. And that is something that we have known, and at least for the bit of research that I've done. So the womb is a place of creation, but it's not just a place of creation for babies. It's a place of creation for everything. The same way, the mind is not just supposed to help you cross the road. It's also supposed to help you create something as powerful as what the Wayne brothers did with the aircraft. Like if you've ever been to an aircraft, you just ask yourself, kuna mtu alikaa?
Yeah, I've asked myself that question
akafikiria to how kitu inaenda 500 like kilometers per hour. Like it takes off and it lands. It takes off and it lands with precision. And wakisema tuta land in 1022, in 1022 you land.
Yes.
And there are these are people who went deep into the brain. Na kuna mtu anatembeanga huko anasema Yesu ako kwa wingu. But if you have ever gone through the clouds, that's when you realize that there's so much beyond the clouds.
Oh my word.
And there's someone who's living in the naivety to think that hapa kwa clouds ndio kuna Yesu. But there's when you're in the clouds you realize hata hujatoka kwa hii space yetu. Like there's something beyond that, you know? And so there are those two kinds of people who someone was able to use that power of the brain to come up, even with EA. Sometimes they use AI. And then I ask, kuna mtu alikaa akafikiria Python and how to come up with it as a programming model. Na sijui, it's just like, how do you see it and come up with this? And people use dark web. How people... and then obviously and there are people who hata ichenia by scale how to hata ujui na wakaje, you know, and so that's the functions, that's the power of the brain. Then you will realize the power of the eyes and the power of the tongue, and so there's the power of the womb. To cut this long story short, the womb is also a place of creation. And the womb works hand in hand as a reproductive organ with the yoni. So the yoni is a place of pleasure. It's a place of receiving. That's where we receive things. So you're not just supposed to receive money, sperm, or receive sex, you know, from men, because that's what we do. We either have sex or we go and pee. Those are the only two functions we use our vaginas. But when we go beyond the physical aspects of it, if it's a place of receiving, then if you build a relationship with it, you're able to receive more than, you know, what you're receiving from men. You're able to receive beautiful things. Money, because when we go into our cycles, it's called a flow. So when you're flowing, you're not just supposed to be flowing with blood. You flow with opportunities and flow with money. And so when I teach women is now to understand the other side of using the yoni to receive. That's why you have to look at it as a beautiful thing and now start taking care of it and tending to it and apologizing, because our babies have come through that portal. Men pleasure themselves and also they pleasure us through that very portal, but we don't appreciate it. It's forgotten. Like you can, I'm sorry to say this, you find a girl is very beautiful on the face, vidonda, sijui nini, vitu zimefura, you know, you're like, there's a smell. You're just like, why are you so beautiful up here? And when someone looks at it down there, it's horrible. So build a relationship with every part of your body and especially that part. So yes, I go deeper into it, especially when teaching women, and it improves. Even some women start seeing great improvement in now how you start to perceive it, the pleasure it gives you. In fact, now partners begin even to enjoy it. They're like, you know, when women like to perform and to entertain men, like, anataka aseme iko na moto. So yeah, and just having to, you know, to build a relationship with it. So because having your menstrual blood is a very beautiful and very important blessing that we were given by nature. Like people, when they perform rituals, you know, they look for blood. And women have it every single month. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. Yeah, pouring of blood is very important.
So before you give any parting shots or plug yourself or whatever, we have like a small ritual.
Oh yeah.
The ritual has a 2-part. So you have to look at that camera and find or think of who else you think we can have an amazing conversation with them, tag them, and it will be burdened on you to make sure that person comes here.
Wow.
Yes.
So who volunteered me?
Yeah. The internet.
The internet.
Yes. I actually ran into you the very first time. I think MC4.
Oh, okay.
Ali cut your introduction. Yeah. That's a very beautiful intro. Akitumia ku hype event.
Oh, event in Abuja.
So I was like, wait, this woman is very eloquent. Who the hell is this woman? So I thought you were the owner of Belladonna. So I asked for that number. Then I was told, no, it's not her. Then I checked the name. I was like, wait. I want this woman. I want to talk to her. Yes, okay. No one tagged you, but these are new ritual, but it's catching on. It's catching on. The new rituals are rituals.
Rituals are rituals.
Yes.
Wow. Do they have to be from the county?
Not necessarily, but as long as there is a flexibility within there, that we can actually, they can come, or if they are really... If they're really good, we'll go to them.
Okay.
This podcast is actually really mobile.
Okay. Hi. Who do I think of? I can suggest. Hey. How? I can go to the. I don't know. I don't. I have two, but I don't. I have only two people I can think of, but I don't think. I hope they are flexible. I would suggest either Walubengo. Anyone knows Walubengo? You know Walubengo? Yeah. You can try Walubengo or Walter Mungari. He's a good friend of mine. I don't know if you've had him. Yeah.
Nyambani.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oof. That one I'd love to talk to him.
Because I think Nyambani has a beautiful... I don't know how if he's become busy of late, but there's a time where he was very flexible to be on podcast. Yeah.
I'd love to
and I think this would also be a very good platform for him to share maybe, his stories and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But I think Ben is a good...
We'll tag both of them. We usually cut this bit and share it on socials and we'll try to tag them.
Please, I was forced. Or I'm under the influence of juice.
So lastly, normally we tell you, thank you, shake your hand.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your journey.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for the amazing conversation that we had. It's gonna cause a bit of mayhem on our socials, especially TikTok.
Yeah.
Tunakuanga na wetu very passionate on our socials. Yeah. But we love conversations. We want to spark conversations.
Yes.
We want to, someone once said that when the conversations end, then people pick knives or something, So we want to have as much conversation as possible so that ideas can the best idea, let it move forward.
Right.
And this is just one of the platforms, mediums we want to use to be able to foster better thinking in the community.
Right.
So thank you for coming on board. And also as a token of appreciation, we tell you your mug yenye umekunywa nayo. It's yours.
It's mine.
Yes.
Thank you. Very important.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
The time lapse.
Every time you are taking your coffee or your whatever you like, you can pack it and
I'm going to be personally using it.
Yes.
I'm going to put it in my home office. Hapa kuna mtu anaweza kutumia.
Yes. All right.
Thank you for having me. I'm so sure even when you have that conversation, I've also made peace.
Yeah.
I've also made peace with the fact that not everyone is going to agree with my thoughts and my sentiments, and I think that usually is perfectly fine. But yeah, people who are able to take contrary opinion, I usually have immense respect for them, even when they don't agree.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Amazing. So if you have any parting shots, any shout outs, that's your camera and we're done.
So thank you so much for having me on the Timelapse show. It was amazing to be here. Obviously for the women, please keep doing the work, keep doing the rituals, and move a lot with confidence, and then just go within and put down the baggage, put down all the things that you have been told by society to fit in a box. And I think this can go for everyone, for all genders, and then question beliefs, question ideologies, question thoughts. But by and large, at the end of the day, just follow what makes sense to you. But as someone who's an African, respect those who have gone before you. So I will not end this without saying that also the good people who have made it possible for you to be here honor them and respect them. Because for me, to sit here and to speak and to have even the spotlight on me, it is courtesy of the people who walked, the people who ran, the people who gave their lives so that I can be here. So I honor them. I appreciate them, especially being in the motherland. And thank you so much for giving me an opportunity, and also for Bungoma loving me. I really appreciate it. My Bungoma people. Most people usually think I'm from the south of Africa. I'm meaning been in Bukus. Yeah. So anyway, have a lovely time. Cheers.
All right. Other than that, till the next one. Bye.